A beautiful rendition of the national anthem, and we are ready for first pitch here from beautiful Evansville, Indiana. Welcome into historic Bosse Field once more. He's Bill McEwen. I'm Matthew Will, and we are pleased to be joining you here on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. I want to remind you that Frontier League Baseball right here on both the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports is presented by Working Distributors Evansville. Our thanks to them for being great partners of the Evansville Otters. Let's waste no time and introduce you to the man on the mound for the Otters. It's the kid, Brett Adcock, making another appearance here on this season. It's start number 8 for Adcock, the former Sioux City Explorer and the former University of Michigan Wolverine. His last start, a 7-inning game against Florence. He ended up taking the loss, giving up 4 runs, though none of them were earned, on 4 hits, struck out 14 in the game. The big reason that the Otters ended up having him have the loss is because Evansville was shut out 7-0 in the game. We'll talk more about Adcock as we go through this first inning. Here's the men he's going to be facing on the other side for the Washington Wild Things. They'll kick it off with, well, there's no two ways about it, one of the best hitters in the entire league, Nick Ward. He comes in with the 3rd best batting average, a .376 overall. Then you've got Issei and Lagrange in the top 3, backed up by Czech, Roa, and Walters. Mang, Brannon, and Alvarez kick off the bottom half. A good mix of lefties and righties throughout this lineup for Washington. Otters wearing their primary blue tops with script Otters written across the front. The numbers on the back are in white as well. They've got the white pants, blue hats with the white fronts and scripty on fronts. As for the Wild Things, they're wearing their black/red tops. They kind of mesh from black up top to red to the bottom. They've got white numbering on the back. Looks like a red lettering on the front. Gray pants for them. They'll be wearing solid black caps. First pitch of the ball game to Nick Ward. It's a called strike right at the elbows. 6:35, our first pitch here.
Is it still the policy of the Otters that the starting pitcher has the option of calling what shirt they should wear?
I've heard that, but I'm not sure if it's still the thing or not.
Okay. The reason I ask is because it seems like when the Otters are home, they're wearing that particular blue shirt compared to the white shirt. And I like the white shirt, which again looks like the Dodgers. But if it's the starting pitcher calling the game, well, so be it.
A 1-1 is left to the outside for ball 2. For those who care, in the blue jerseys, the Otters are 19-14 this year.
How about with the whites?
In the whites, they're 8-3.
Oh, that's better percentage.
In the grays, they're 4-3, and in specialty themed jerseys, they're 2-1.
Oh.
A 2-1 coming home from Adcock, and it again gets through the legs of Felix. A check swing from Ward was left alone, and he's ahead in the count 3-1.
That's the second one that just got through Felix, and there's no one on. It doesn't make any difference, but isn't he putting that glove down? I know there's no outs and no one on.
Ball is zoomed down the right field line, down for a base hit. Mcnamee going chasing after it into the right field corner, taking a while to get to the ball. I tell you what, he could have had a triple there, but they decided to keep it at a double to kick off this ball game.
I'll tell you what, that was a pretty good shot down there.
Wherever it landed in that right field corner, it got stuck good because Mcnamee had to try to dig it out. And now Chris Issei will head to the plate with a runner on and no outs. Not the start the Otters were looking for in this one. Again, Washington enters the game, the top team in the West Division. Otters are 1 game back in second. Long-awaited first game between these two squads this year.
Well, that's a nice way to start the game with runner on second base and no outs.
First pitch home to Issei. He shows bunt, and it stays outside for ball 1. I want to walk you around the defensive alignment for the Otters. Baez, Gordon, Mcnamee, left to right across the outfield, just like usual out there. In the infield, it's heavily defensive. Davis at third, Khalil at short, Armstrong at second, Zack Biermann at first. And again, Felix is behind the plate. Adcock looks down, the runner out at second. Here comes the 1-0. It's sent foul right back into the netting, and the count evens up at 1 ball, 1 strike.
So 1 ball, 1 strike, but it's changed to 1 ball and 2 strikes, is it?
I believe we're looking at a 1-1.
Yeah, I'm looking at the scoreboard. It's got 1-1, 1 ball, 1 strike.
We'll go with it. A 1-1 to Chris Issei. Pushed out towards left center field. Long run for Gordon. He dives, and it gets past him. Baez is going to have to go play it towards the wall. A run's going to come in and score, and it'll be an RBI double for Chris Issei.
Well, it's not an easy way to start the game.
Exactly the way that the Wild Things wanted to start this one, immediately getting on the board on Brett Adcock.
I don't want to second guess Mr. Gordon out there in center field, but I think he misplayed that. He should have waited, played it on the hop, and held the run to third base, maybe.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. There is the wind coming in towards home plate, so it's possible that kept it from coming to him a little bit. Normally, that's a play he ends up making. That one, he just ended up a few inches short.
Okay, well, it got by him, and the batter now ended up on second base, so we're in the same situation.
Wagner Lagrange heads to the plate now with 1 on and 1 across. Still no outs here in the top of the first. Lagrange is the DH this evening and comes in with a .321 average. 4 separate Wild Things have an average over 300. A 1-0. Zoom to the right side. It's through for a base hit. They're going to send the runner home, and now they put the brakes on him, and rightfully so.
Ooh,
Great throw by Elijah
What
Mcnamee.
a throw. So that's 3 hits in a row. That's when you call timeout. And Max just go out there and just ask, what the heck is going on? We've got 3 hits, 2 doubles, and a single, and we're in the first inning. And I'm not faulting Adcock. It's just, maybe he's throwing. Actually, I'm going to ask you a question. I haven't seen him throw his breaking pitch. It's mostly all fastballs.
There has been a lot of fastballs thus far.
Yeah, and yet one of his best pitches is his curveball.
Absolutely. Andrew Check at the plate now. First pitch to him is a called strike on the outside edge, and I think that's the first called strike Adcock's had in 3 batters.
Okay. Well, we could give up the run and go for the double play and kill the rally.
0-1 coming home. It's lifted high and foul to the left side. Davis is going to run it down towards the bullpen over there at the fence, and it's going to get out of play just barely.
Okay, now, did you see the heads up on George? JR is over there trying to catch the foul ball by the stands, leaving third base unoccupied. And George comes over from short to cover third. That's heads-up baseball.
I was going to say, that's what we call high baseball IQ.
Right.
Runners on the corners, no outs, and an 0-2 count to Andrew Check. Another pitch sent foul. This one, Davis is not even going to give a look over at.
Yeah, that looked like his curveball to me, but it hung a little. But it still looked like the curveball. It doesn't have that break. That's why we're not sure. It doesn't have that real Adcock break.
Lagrange at first, Issei at third. And an 0-2 pitch coming home to Check. Sent fair down the left field line. Will it work its way foul? It will by about 10 feet. Looked good off the bat, though.
Yes, it did. I was looking at our left fielder, Baez. He kind of glided. He didn't run hard, so I figured it was out of play.
It must have done a hard turn in the air where he could see it turn hard enough.
Exactly.
Because off the bat, it looked like it was going almost straight towards him.
Yeah. Now, here's where Adcock should throw a low outside curveball and have him fetch.
0-2 is up high. It's a swinging strike 3. And Brett Adcock has himself his first out at German American Bank strikeouts.
Okay. So he was right, I was wrong, but we got the out, and that's what counts.
By the way, it is Adcock on the mound, Felix behind the plate. That pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Give them a call at 812-475-9000.
Now, this could be a good double play. We got, I think, the best double play combination in the Frontier League with George on short and Armstrong on second. They work well together. Whether you reverse it and have Armstrong at short and George at second makes no difference. Both of them execute the double play well.
We saw the curveball there from Adcock. He got a swinging strike one. The 0-1 is a called strike on the inside edge.
That looked like a breaking pitch again. So it's 2 strikes.
Hector Roa at the plate, batting .284 on the season, quickly down 0-2 in the count. What a comeback it would be in this inning to only give up 1 run. Keep yourself right here. 0-2 is just fouled back towards the netting. I tell you what, Roa was afraid that was a called strike. He really reached for that.
I'm glad you said it because that's what I was just going to say. I mean, he reached. So give him credit. If he thought it was a strike, give him credit for going after it, protecting the plate. But it was way far outside, I thought.
An 0-2, once again, way inside, and Roa has to jump out of the way. Tell you what, a lot of people taking the most of this evening out there on the Corona patio deck. It is packed full out there.
Oh, you're right.
That could be your group in just a couple weeks once the All-Star break ends. Give our front office a call if you'd like to reserve the patio deck for yourself. You can call it 812-435-8686. Any size, our guys will help you figure out the perfect night.
Well, I know my group will be some night out there. The Knights of Columbus. That's all the different councils in the city and suburbs. That's something I started about, 10, 15 years ago.
A 2-2 to Hector Roa. Sent sharply at Khalil at short. To second for 1. Over to first. In time and the inning ends. A huge comeback couple of plays for Brett Adcock. The Otters give up a run here in the first, but only 1. That's a huge win. Otters come to bat right after this. It's Gordon, Mcnamee, and Biermann ready to bat. And we welcome you into the bottom of the first inning. Evansville and Washington facing for the first time this year. And conveniently enough, it comes the night after Evansville faced Schaumburg for the last time this year. So as they wrap one series up for the year, they start a new one for the year. And starting on the mound is the former major leaguer Rob Whalen. Tell you what, there's not much this guy has not done. Played in the major league for both Atlanta and Seattle. Ended up playing AAA ball at Gwinnett in the Atlanta League, or in the Atlanta affiliation, in Tacoma in the Seattle affiliation, in St. Paul in the Minnesota affiliation. In total, he's clocked 8 years of minor league experience and has pitched in the majors in 3 separate years. He's seen it all.
Well, I'll tell you what, pitching in the Frontier League versus pitching in the majors is a big, big difference. In other words, when he travels from St. Louis to Seattle, he was flying first class on some Delta or American Airlines. If he's making that trip in the Frontier League, he's traveling on a school bus.
Well, here's the men that Rob Whalen's going to face with his Frontier leading 9 wins. It'll start off with the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, Miles Gordon. And a little different look here. Mcnamee's going to be in the 2-hole, and then everyone just shifts down 1. Biermann, Davis, Baez, Sinsley. Now all 1 down a little bit. Khalil, Felix, and Armstrong round out the starting 9 for Evansville.
May I just add one more low point? Yeah, when you guys got to the hotel, say in Schaumburg, the bus parked outside. You waited until you got your luggage out of the bus, and then you toted it to the lobby. And then Andy said, okay, so-and-so take room so-and-so. And you carried it to the room. Now, when you're in the majors, all you do is you get on the bus and someone else puts your baggage there. And when you get to your hotel room, that's when your baggage is there. You don't do too much at all. Everyone else does something for you. That's the difference between the majors. That's why everyone wants to pitch in the majors or play in the majors.
2 straight balls to Miles Gordon, has him off to a 2-0 count. And this is a good point, or a good time to bring this up. If you're a hitter for Evansville, you've just got to approach it like any other pitcher. Ignore his past and just realize that it's just another baseball game.
Well, I used to always tell my batters that it makes no difference if Roger Clemens or Bob Feller or I don't care who's pitching. They're all the same. They all have to throw strikes. So it makes no difference. The name doesn't mean nothing. If it's over the plate, swing. That's it.
The plate's the exact same size as it is up there.
Exactly. The ball's the same, the bat's the same, and the home plate's the same.
A 3-0 comes home for a called strike on the outside edge. Good time to introduce you to our umpiring staff tonight. Mike Weinstein, is at home plate. On the left side of the infield, it's Mike Fitcher. On the right side, Ty Unthink. Ball sent sharply to the left side over the shortstop's head for a leadoff base hit for Evansville. Hit him with anything you can do, I can do better here in the first inning. Good start.
Well, if you notice, that was over the plate. He just slapped at it and got a nice line drive over short, just showing you don't have to overswing. All you got to do is swing and make contact. That's it.
When it kind of looked like he was ready to take the pitch and then realized, oh, that's a pretty good pitch. And
right.
he, like you said, slapped at it and got good contact, and it worked the right way for him. That'll bring up Elijah Mcnamee, who has been hitting leadoff for the Otters, now in the 2 spot this evening. They're expecting a bunt on the left side of the infield. First pitch to him, called strike on the outside edge. And at this point, let's walk you through the defensive alignment for Washington. Mang, Brannon, Roa, left to right across the outfield. Walters, Ward, Issei, Chet, left to right across the infield. And Alvarez is behind the plate. Mcnamee back to the plate with an 0-1 count and 1 on here in the bottom of the first inning. First pitch to him. Stays low and outside. They'll throw down to first, and I tell you what, if that throw's better, they might have had Gordon.
Well, a good catcher that can keep those runners close to first is an added quality for the home team.
Big lead yet again for Gordon over there at first as the 1-1 gets set for Elijah Mcnamee. They're going to go check on Gordon again. No tag applied, and he was back in time.
You know, I notice the pitcher now. He'll take his stretch. Right now he's looking for a sign. He's got it. Now he'll take a stretch. Okay, looked over first, took a stretch. Now he's looking at third, and he'll throw home.
Pitch is swung through, gets away. Are they going to say it was foul tipped? It looks like they will not. So Gordon's going to get himself a free base.
That's what I thought. It went off the catcher's glove.
That's what I thought as well. It looks like everyone agrees with that. So Miles Gordon gets himself a free base on the pass ball.
Well, it sets up a runner in scoring position.
Otters have seen plenty of runners in scoring position in the last week. It's unfortunately been getting them home that's been their issue.
Right. That's what you say.
And it's also a called strike against Mcnamee, so he's down 1-2. Whalen gets himself set up. A little glance out towards second. Here comes the 1-2. Swinging strike 3. Mcnamee chased to the opposite batter's box. He starts off with a strikeout, the first of the day for Whalen.
You know, I think you've seen him more than I, but I think Big Mac has gone for that pitch within the last 2 or 3 weeks, and there's no way he can hit it.
That's a pitcher doing his homework.
Yeah.
He knew where the guy would chase, and indeed he did. It'll set up a runner on second, 1-out opportunity for Zack Biermann, who just fell under the 300 batting average line, now at 297, looking for a way to jumpstart his offense. First pitch to Zack Biermann. On the way now. Swinging strike one, really loaded up on that swing.
Now, you've watched Zack play more than I, especially lately. Is he swinging at an awful lot of first pitches?
He swung at a lot of first pitches and a lot of second pitches.
Yeah, okay.
He's found himself in probably a lot more 0-2 counts than he'd probably like.
That's what I mean. He puts himself in the hole before he even has a chance to get adjusted.
0-1, lifted out towards center field. Brannon will run in just a few steps, bring it in for out number 2, and Gordon will stay put there at second.
If he went to third, he would have committed suicide.
Well, I've got to tell you, you've got to keep an eye on Cole Brannon out there at center field. Not only does he have a really good arm, he has some of the best legs in the entire Frontier League. That's the reason that he leads the league in stolen bases with 29.
Oh, boy. I noticed when we were on the road, that young man got his leading triple, too.
Yes, indeed. Chase
Yeah,
Dawson.
I noticed that.
It was disappointing it happened against us, but it was also cool to get to see that moment because it definitely meant a lot to him.
Yeah.
J.R. Davis at the plate now with 2 outs and a runner on second. First offering to him. Stays low, ball 1.
That looked good to me.
Got just under the knees. Davis has himself quite the last 10 games. In fact, he's got 7 RBIs in those 10 games. A lot of those RBIs coming on fielder's choice or sacrifice flies, not necessarily getting himself base hits. A 1-0 for Davis, the game's third baseman.
Well, it wasn't last night's RBI with Biermann on third. He hit the ball to second base, and that's how we scored the run.
Yeah.
Got the RBI there.
A nice pitch on the high inside corner, evens the count at 1 ball, 1 strike for J.R. Davis. He's got 2 outs and a runner on second in front of him. Otters trying to level this game here in the first inning. Whalen ready to go on the bump. Here comes the 1-1. It's half swung or pushed towards the right side. Ends up near the Otters dugout.
That was a half a swing. I didn't mean to swing, but the ball hit the bat. I'm sorry.
1 ball, 2 strikes now for J.R. Davis. Trying to drop something into the outfield that could even the game at 1 run. Look out to second. Here comes the 1-2 from Rob Whalen. Push towards the right side, right at the second baseman, Issei, and he will bring it in for out number 3. Evansville gets themselves a leadoff man on, but cannot bring him home. We've played 1. Washington leads 1-0. Well, the Otters unable to strike in the first inning, so they continue to trail 1-0. Let's look through the Seal Corp Frontier League standings as we enter this Friday evening. Washington leading the way, just 1 game over Evansville. Then at 5.5 games back is both Schaumburg and Schaumburg and Gateway. Joliet a couple back, and as are Lake Erie, Windy City, and Florence rounding out the West. On the East, Quebec is still leading the way. They've actually expanded the gap between themselves and Ottawa. But between Sussex County all the way down to New Jersey, it's only a few games deciding them. It's going to be a fun stretch to the end in the East. Empire State rounding out things at the bottom there. Thanks to our friends at Seal Corp for sponsoring the Frontier League standings here on both the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
You ought to give a lot of credit to Empire State for holding up that league. Where would those teams be if it wasn't for Empire State?
Well, I think that's part of the argument by a lot of the West Division coaches is, hey, wait, where do we have the team that is struggling to get wins against?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be Walters, Mang, and Brannon due up for Washington here in the half inning. First pitch to Ian Walters on the way. Called strike at the elbows. That was the fastball for Mr. Adcock up there on the mound. 85 is where he likes to keep it. 0-1 home. That one had a little more to it. It's over the head of Armstrong, down for a base hit. And just like they did in the first, the Wild Things start off with a leadoff base hit.
Now, what happened? I think JR, did he make a spectacular catch the other night? You went crazy trying it, but I couldn't visualize it.
JR had one or two, but Andy Armstrong had an unreal series yet again. I know we sound like broken records when we say that, but it was nice to see J.R. Davis have a couple of good plays at second as well when he was filling in. Jared Mang takes a strike one on the outside edge.
There's no doubt that Evansville's got a superior defensive infield.
Well, it was cool to see them have that defensive success despite a different look. With Khalil having that game off, they had Armstrong at short, Davis at second, Torrales at third, and it still looked good.
Yeah.
A throw over to first, and Mang's back in plenty of time.
Torrales, after that error that night that stopped that streak of Adcock, that was Adcock's last game. He's played third only once, hasn't he? And we were raving about his defense earlier.
0-1 towards Mang. It's lifted high. Foul to the right side. Biermann chasing after it. Towards the wall, and he brings it in. And then he drops the ball right after, but they do say he did make the catch beforehand. He was bringing the ball out like he was going to be ready to throw to second, but they'll say he had it long enough to count as an out. Everyone can breathe easy for a second. That would have been a tough way to see an out erased.
He lost it in his transfer from the glove to hand. You know, so many ball players today, I noticed, they kind of flip the ball that's in their glove.
They try to make it one big motion
from
catching to
Instead of reaching in and grabbing it, they Hollywood it. Theater.
First pitch to Cole Brannon on the way. It's a half swing and left alone for ball one on the outside edge. Close pitch there. And that's exactly what Adcock's asking about.
Well, that's what I would do.
And he's actually asking that they could go out and check the swing, and they still say no, he did not, so it's ball one.
You know, that's what I give Adcock credit for. It don't cost anything to have the umpire ask for help.
1-0 to Brannon.
You know, it's like my wife going to a grocery store and she's looking for something in and out, up and down the aisles. And I'd say, Betty, all you got to do is ask an employee where. But no, they have to up and down the aisles, just like the umpire. Rather than ask the umpire, they just, let's move on.
Cole Brannon, one of the best in the league, if not the best in the league when it comes to being on the base paths, best stolen base man. A 1-1 headed his way, and it sent sharply down the first baseline, just foul. That's the thing about Brett Adcock, though. Guys do not get stolen bases on him. Being a lefty with a quick release, he's staring down the runner at first. In fact, this year, there's only been 2 stolen base attempts against Adcock, and only 1 has been successful.
Really? Okay. Well, let me get back to my wife. She's here, so thank God she didn't hear me complain. Otherwise, she's liable to file for divorce. 65 years, and she's filing for divorce because I say she walks up and down the aisles too much.
1 ball, 2 strikes for Cole Brannon. There's 1 out and a runner on first. Otters are in positioning for a second to double play of the game.
He's got a strike.
1-2 was a competitive pitch on the high outside corner. Left alone for ball 2.
You know, we're only in the second inning. It seems to me this umpire squeezed home plate.
Especially here in the second inning thus far.
That guy on first bothers me.
The 2-2 sent towards Khalil at short. To second for 1, and it's off the edge of the glove for Armstrong into no man's land, and the runners will advance to first and third. No one's going to end up being out on the play.
Error on Armstrong. Throw was there.
Yeah, it just kind of looked like Armstrong overran the throw.
Oh, I thought he reached up and it didn't go in his glove.
It looked like he reached up and he was already past the throw. Like it was a little behind him even.
Oh, okay. So,
regardless, there's runners at first and third now.
So the error would be on the shortstop then. Okay.
We'll see exactly who it's applied to.
Okay.
Once the scores are put in. Error is on Armstrong. So maybe I just had a bad look at it. They're saying it was a little more online.
All right.
First pitch to Alvarez, stays inside ball one. And, you know, this is something that I feel like we've seen plenty this year with the Otters. They do have a lot of errors, and that makes this next at-bat for the pitcher difficult. On a play that likely was going to end the inning, now Adcock has to find a way around now runners on the corners.
Yeah, you're right. Well, you know, ball players today, Armstrong and the rest, they're one hand everything. And they try to catch the ball one hand, make the tag one hand. You know,
a 1-0 sent sharply towards Davis at third. Let's try it again. To second for one, to first. In time, and the inning ends that time.
Wow.
The Otters say, don't worry, Brett, we've got you. They make up for their error, and no run will come across the pass. We've played two. It's Washington 1, Evansville 0, here on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. Bottom of the second, coming at you next. Time for the top or bottom half of the second inning. Apologies there. Otters have played two defensive innings. They have two double plays. They were able to make up for an error there and help out their pitcher. That's been the story of the game thus far. Adcock struggled right out the gate. The defense had his back.
Well, that's what you need. Again, there's 9 players. One's a pitcher, one's the catcher, the others are infielders and outfielders. And they're all supposed to contribute to the team.
Otters are going to kick off the second inning with Baez, Sinsley, and Khalil. Been a while since we've seen both Baez and Sinsley this far down in the order. But these are two powerful bats back to back.
Well, I noticed that your power hitters have been adding a lot of Ks to their batting averages. And that's why I think he sank down to the lower level. In fact, Baez has been, like Armstrong, or like Big Mac, has been chasing that low outside pitch for a strikeout. They know it's not a strike. Why reach for it? There it is there.
A 1-0 to Baez is swung on and missed on the low outside edge. And his count evens up.
You know, I think the longest a bat can be is, I think 45 inches. I stand to be corrected.
Not sure.
And I think 52 is the most it can weigh. But when your bat I know I used to use a 33-ounce, 34 length bat. So that means if I didn't cover the outside of the plate with that 34 length, I was out of luck.
The 2-1 to Baez. Sent sharply towards his manager there on the third base side. Well, foul. Will actually end up bouncing all the way back into fair territory. Count remains.
We just have a shortstop, Pepper Thomas. He was about 5'8", and probably weighed about 160 pounds. And he used to use a 50-weight bat, and I used a 33-ounce. And he used to say, "Yeah, but you don't hit home runs with light bats." No, but I could get that bat around faster than he could with that 50.
2-2 works high and inside and actually hits Baez on the shoulder. They check down and say, no, he did not swing, which will result in the free base. Had he gone around far enough, it would have been a strikeout.
That's what I was just going to question, but you've answered it. I thought he was in the process of swinging when he got hit, which in essence would mean it's a strikeout.
As long as he didn't go around, it counts as a hit by pitch. So he'll get himself a free base with nobody out. Second straight inning, the Otters have gotten their leadoff man on. And now the big bat of Steven Sinsley heads to the plate. Sinsley was an all-star nominee as well for this Otters team. The first pitch to him in this at-bat. There goes the runner towards second. The throw out's a bit wide, and because of it, Baez is going to have himself a stolen base.
Yeah, and that shortstop made a good effort to try to get him on a sweep as he's going by. But Baez was running at least 3 steps before the pitcher released the ball.
When we saw Baez on the second game of that series at Schaumburg, he got on base to start off the second inning just like it is in this game, and he stole second and third.
Really?
Put himself in scoring position, was brought in on a sac fly.
Oh, well.
The 1-0 to Sinsley. Zoomed out towards left center field. Chasing back is Brannon. He's towards the wall, and he makes the catch on the run. There goes Baez towards third. He's in plenty of time, and it's a productive out for Sinsley.
Yes, but not only that, but that center fielder just impressed me. He ran a mile to catch it, caught it, and from the fence threw a one hop to third. That is a pretty good arm. Therefore, what I'm saying, Matthew, is you better not take the extra base on that guy.
And he made that run down with ease out there.
Yes.
He was to that ball in plenty of time.
Well, you said he was a Kentucky Derby racehorse.
They'll bring up George Khalil with 1 out and 1 on third.
Oh, strike.
Starts off with a called strike on the high inside corner. Anything will do here, George. Just about. A long ball to the outfield or even a fielder's choice might bring the run home.
Yeah, shortstop's playing deep. Second baseman's deep. You could come home in either ground ball.
The 0-1. Khalil swings through that one and actually ends up hitting the catcher Alvarez on the helmet on the swing. And the count's down to 0-2 now for Khalil.
That was a kind of a lazy swing, finishing up with a one-hand hold on the bat.
Khalil down 0-2 in the count. Big opportunity for the Otters to tie the game here. Here comes the 0-2 from Whalen. Push towards left field, down for a base hit. Baez is going to score on an RBI single from the Australian George Khalil. What a time to grab yourself your first base hit all week long. The last time up for Khalil as a starter, he had 4 strikeouts. That's a way to state your case back out here.
Oh, really? Yeah, that made up for 4 strikeouts, I'll tell you that. And here comes Justin. Now, do you think George will attempt to steal? They got away with it once, but again, it depends on getting that jump.
Yeah, I don't think so here. Part of that is purely because Alvarez has thrown a bunch of guys out.
Well, again, Is stealing a base, it depends on the player because he's got to get a jump, he's got to read the pitchers, and he better have some speed.
Yeah, Alvarez has thrown out 7 of the 30 that have tried to steal on him this year. Not a bad ratio there. Felix ahead in the count 1-0. Felix fell under the 200 batting average this last week. Now at 196. The 1-0. Big curveball fell in.
You know, I was funny. I was telling my son-in-law the other night about when I was playing an exhibition game against the Milwaukee Brewers when you had Billy Bruton and Henry Aaron, Johnny Logan, all that could run. When they get on base, I was on my toes, ready to throw them out. And none of them attempted to steal.
A 1-1 to Felix. Another curveball and another called strike.
And Eva St. Clair, probably 6'6", 300 pounds. He gets on first. Who do you don't think he would steal? He hasn't missed a meal in 3 years. Anyway, he goes down to steal. I throw the ball in center field because it caught me off guard.
1 ball, 2 strikes for Felix. Trying to keep himself alive in this count. Long wait before the 1-2 coming home. Pushed out, foul to the right side. It's going to get out of play, and he keeps himself alive in the count. Otters have tied the game on an RBI single from George Khalil. Good to see him getting into the offensive flow for the Otters.
Yeah, he didn't play the other night for some reason.
Now, he didn't start last night, but he came in after the ejection in the 6th inning.
Yeah.
1 ball, 2 strikes for the catcher, Felix. Pitch on the way. Pushed out towards left center field.
Drop.
Long run for Brannon. It drops in front of all of them for a 1-out single. Back-to-back singles to the Otters. Have runners at first and second. This is what got the Otters their runs in last night's game. They had 5 straight singles in the 3rd inning. That's where they got the majority of their offense. What I want to see the Otters do, though, is turn these consecutive base hits into runs. You can't be leaving guys on base.
Well, that's true. No sense of getting base hit, but then they let them stranded.
Well, it'll be Andy Armstrong at the plate now, a guy who has found a lot of success as of recently. In fact, he has multi-hit outings in 6 of his last 13 games.
But getting back to Felix's, you could see it was a Texas slugger just dropping over the infield.
First pitch to Andy Armstrong with 1 out and 2 on. Push to the right side.
Ooh.
Oh, wonderful grab by the first baseman, Check. He'll step on first for the 1 out. My goodness, he barely got to that ball.
That was a double and a run scored. So that give a gold start to that first baseman.
Well, and more importantly, he focused more on the let's get the out we know we can get there. Don't try to get up quickly and throw a ball off to second. He knew the smart play there.
Right. Get the sure out, not the possible out.
Of course, both runners did advance. So Khalil now stands on third, Felix at second. With the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, Miles Gordon at the plate. He led off for the Otters with a single back in the first.
Well, we could use another hit right now for 2 runs.
First pitch home to Miles Gordon. Big curveball. That one stayed low. That's been the best pitch for Whalen.
Yes, it has.
It's almost like a pitch like that is what kept you in affiliated ball for
exactly
8 years.
It's not so much the velocity of the fastball, but the movement of the other pitches. A good sharp curveball or slider or forkball or
1-0 to Gordon. Sent sharply down the left field or right field line, but just foul. And it's just like real estate. It's location, location, location.
A good comparison. I like that. How much is that home there?
Yeah.
But,
well, if you're talking a pitcher who can throw with location, it's $1 million.
Yes. But, you know, a guy that could throw that ball 95 miles an hour, 90 times out of 100, just straight as an Indian arrow.
The 1-1 to Gordon, way outside.
And then the guy throws 86, 87 miles an hour, and it has a little tilt here, a little sway here. and it's always moving. So when the batter's swinging at something, it's not located where you last saw it.
Wind blowing pretty well in from the right field foul pole right now. 2-1 the count for Miles Gordon with 2 outs and runners at second and third. He pushes the ball to the right side, takes a weird hop on check. He'll be able to play it on to first himself for out number 3, but not before the Australian George Khalil hits an RBI single to give the Otters a tie ball game. After 2, it's Otters 1, Washington 1 here on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. As we head to the third inning, want to walk through the Fox Sports WYFX Frontier League scoreboard. We don't get to it all now. We'll get to it all throughout this half inning. In the bottom of the 6th, the Quebec Capitals have a 6-4 lead on the road at Ottawa, and Sussex County up 3-2 at New York in the 4th inning. Keep an eye on that Boulders team. New York scored 20-plus runs in 2 separate games this week, including a game where they hit 9 home runs, a Frontier League record for home runs in a single game. In the top of the 5th, the Joliet Slammers currently lead at Florence 3-0. And in the top of the 4th, New Jersey up 4-3 hosting Tri-City. We'll get to the other 4 games in just a couple of seconds as Nick Ward, the leadoff man for Washington, makes his way to the plate.
I think the most I ever had was like 5 home runs in a game by the team, whether it was my team or the other team. But 9 home runs, that's enough. A lot of free balls.
First pitch to Ward. Zoom to the right side. No one's going to have a play on it except Elijah Mcnamee after it's dropped in for a base hit. 3 innings, 3 leadoff base hits for Washington. That's just one of the things that makes them special.
Great to have you here at Bossy Field. 23 and they went. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Second baseman 33, Chris.
That'll bring up Chris Issei, who had a RBI double in the first. For a while, it looked like that was going to be just the first puzzle piece and a lot of runs in the first, but the Otters defense helped out Brett Adcock.
Yeah.
First pitch is a called strike just on the outside edge.
You're right. The defense has held the Washington to 1 run. Thank goodness. Outstanding defense.
Defense is at double play positioning around the infield. 0-1 is the count to Chris Issei. A called strike on the inside edge has Adcock up 0-2 in the count. That's a nice pitch.
It is. It's a hard pitch.
It clocked in at 84, but it looked a whole lot quicker than that. And part of that could be because of the vertical movement he gets from the or horizontal movement from the outside to the inside. The 0-2 sent out towards center field right at Gordon. He'll step in a few steps and bring it in for out number 1. Let's go through the last 3 games on the Fox Sports WYFX Frontier League scoreboard. Empire State up 4-0 at Trois-Rivières in the 4th inning right now. In the bottom of the 2nd, Gateway holding a 1-0 lead over Schaumburg. Just saw that Schaumburg team last night. And in the top of the 1st, Lake Erie and Windy City currently scoreless there at Windy City. We'll look in just a couple of innings at what things look like across the league. First pitch to Wagner Lagrange comes in for a called strike 1. Defense again set up in double play positioning. If they got one here, it'd be 3 straight innings. 0-1 bounces in. Good stop from Felix to keep it in front of him. Otters probably a little bit happier to be back here at home where the distance between home plates and the backstop is maybe 20 feet as opposed to the 70 feet it is at Schaumburg.
Wow. Well, you know, back in heyday, when the dinosaurs were still roaming,
1-1 pushed foul to the right side out of play.
I'm going to say 60 years ago, Bossy Field was the same way. When I had a pass ball, I used to call the local yellow cab. It was so far back. Yeah, they in those days, those scorekeepers weren't too friendly to me. They were pass balls, not wild pitches.
A 1-2 is skied high towards shallow second base, and it's brought in by Armstrong for out number 2. That was a last-second adjustment swing by Lagrange. He was coming across straight and then brought the bat up sharply, and that's what took the ball just straight up.
28, Andrew Check.
That'll bring up the first baseman, Andrew Check. Currently, he is the only Wild thing guilty of the strikeouts.
Made a heck of a play on Armstrong, though. Took a double away from Armstrong.
Yes, indeed, he did. Not often you get to see high-caliber defensive plays in baseball anymore, it seems. And it's been fun to get to watch this Otters team that does it a lot. 1-0 the count to Andrew Check. Adcock sends it home.
Strike.
Oh, really slowed that down. I thought he got a called strike on the high edge.
No,
Must have
ball.
stayed just over the elbows for ball 2.
Yeah.
Looked good.
I thought it looked good. Again, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze.
2-0 the count for Andrew Check. With a runner on first and 2 outs. Pitch stays low and a bit outside for ball 3.
Star Wars night. We're going to have Star Wars?
Yeah, tomorrow night, actually. Star Wars night.
Oh.
Presented by State Farm and 44 News. Pitch stays high outside, and Check's going to reach on a 4-pitch walk. The first one dished out so far in the game by Adcock. That'll bring up the right fielder Hector Roa, who grounded into a double play back in the first inning. That was the Otters' first double play of the game. They grabbed a second one in the second inning.
A very, very, very important double play.
They don't need one here as they only need one last out with 2 outs and runners on first and second.
It's a force at any base, third, second, first.
Adcock steps off for a second, reworks through his signs, nods home towards his catcher, Felix. First pitch to Roa. Oh, that pitch looked really good. Must have stayed a tiny bit low for ball 1. Pretty good crowd here tonight for a Friday evening. Girls' night out at the ballpark, actually, presented by the Women's Hospital and Junior League of Evansville. The 1-0 to Hector Roa. And instead, Adcock's going to step off to keep the runners close.
You say girls' night out?
Girls' night out at the ballpark.
Wow.
I believe they were giving away wine glasses at the
Oh,
front
really?
gates. Yeah.
Oh. Wine glasses. Boy.
1-0 is the count for Hector Roa. Pitch on the way towards him. Bounces in. Good stop from Felix to keep it at 2-0. There's runners on first and second for Washington with the game tied at 1 run apiece.
Well, that's 6 balls in a row now because Adcock walked the batter before him.
Long looking towards home. Has the sign he wants. So look out towards second. And here comes the 2-0. Man, another good pitch, but another one just outside the zone. This one a bit above the elbows.
And both Felix and Adcock mentioned something to the umpire like a good call. That's insulting.
So it's a 3-0 count now to Hector Roa. Potentially one pitch away from another walk.
Ball 4.
Ball stays low and inside, and it's 8 straight balls thrown by Brett Adcock, and has runners at first and second. We might see it. Yes, we will. Max Pearson makes his walk out there to have a quick chat with his pitcher. He allowed the leadoff single to Nick Ward, but then grabbed 2 quick outs. But now is trying to find his way out of things with the bases loaded after back-to-back walks.
I'd also like to encourage you to visit their tables on the Adcock course.
It looked like the first thing said by Max as he walked up there, he put both hands out and pushed him down towards the ground. Just, hey, calm down. Take it one pitch at a time. All you need is one out here.
Well, I also seen Max talk to Felix, and I've often said, when a manager or pitching coach goes out to the mound, you should talk to the catcher and say, how's he doing? No one else knows better than the catcher.
What I also noticed as Max was walking past the home plate umpire, Mike Weisner, he gave him a couple of words as well. It looked like shaking his head as well. Must be disappointed with the strike zone. Ian Walters at the plate now. Sends a ball high and foul to the left side. Davis giving chase towards the fence at the wall, and it gets away from him. Ends up on top.
Out of space. See, now here's, in this situation, Matthew, Adcock shouldn't worry. He keeps looking at the runner on second. Forget him. Concentrate on the batter. He's the one that's going to advance everybody. So don't worry about the guy on second. He could go to third, and who cares? Get that batter.
Bases loaded, 2 outs. Here in the top of the third, Adcock just trying to grab out number 3. An 0-1 pitch to Ian Walters. Is sent foul again to that left side. This time Davis won't have any play at it.
Now that just told you something. My good friend Charlie Broadway Wagner would say, don't give him anything to hit now. If he can't pull your fastball, don't give him a change. Let's see if he stays with the fastball low and outside.
No balls, 2 strikes for Ian Walters. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Adcock just needs the 1. An 0-2 coming home. Lifted up towards right center field. Mcnamee and Gordon chasing back. It's Gordon underneath it, and he brings it in for out number 3. Otters get out of a bases loaded jam here. We've played 2.5. Still tied at 1. We go to the bottom of the third. Yet again, the Otters get themselves out of a little bit of a jam. They really need a 3-up, 3-down defensive inning. Just kind of calm things down a bit. But they'll look to, at this point now, potentially grab a lead with Mcnamee, Biermann, and Davis coming up here in the third.
Well, as you said, the last couple of weeks, they've put a lot of runners in scoring position, but they haven't brought them home.
Well, and I guarantee you if we get to a spot here in the next couple of months where it looks like the Otters are trending in the wrong direction, that seems to be right now that's going to be what causes that, is that they just haven't been able to capitalize on their opportunities. And it doesn't matter what sport you're playing. This is baseball, but in any sport, if you're not capitalizing on the opportunities the opponent gives you, you're not going to win ball games.
Exactly. And if you're not scoring, you better put your best defensive team out there to hold the other team to little runs too.
Well, that's been the tough thing for the Otters. We've seen great pitching, great defensive work, but the offense just can't keep up.
Right. And yet, going back about a month ago, we couldn't stop the home runs from jumping over the fence.
Elijah Mcnamee is going to kick off the half inning offensively for Evansville. Starts off with a called strike one on the outside edge. The 0-1 towards Elijah Mcnamee. Swinging strike two on a pitch that broke low and away from him.
You know, I'm beginning to wonder, can he see that pitch? He goes after that pitch. There's no way he's going to hit it. And he's been striking out religiously on that particular pitch.
He was certainly expecting a fastball on that last pitch, way out in front of it.
Yeah,
Here comes the 0-2.
There
Another
it goes again.
Pitch on the low outside corner, and Mcnamee chases down there for swinging strike three to lead off this third inning.
His bat doesn't reach the outside low corner of the plate. So if you can't reach it with the bat, don't swing at it.
First baseman Zack Biermann makes his way to the plate now. Had a long fly out back in the first inning. First pitch to him here in the third. Swinging strike one. He swung just over the top of the ball.
And they're throwing that inside by his knees. So he's got the Arnold Palmer swing.
The 0-1. A high outside. The count evens up at 1-1.
You notice how close he is to the plate? Look where his bat is when he swings. Look, see this? See how that it covers the entire plate? That's the way it should be. He does a good job.
The 1-1 to Biermann.
Good strike.
Pitch stays inside. It helped out a little bit by the frame job of Alvarez. And it's a 1-2 count. Biermann's got a fight from behind now as the 1-2 heads his way. Curveball falls low. That's a really challenging pitch.
It is. Whoops. You know, with Major League experience, you would think he would do a better job. I'm being honest. He's doing a good job. But, I mean, here you got 2 strikes on Zack. Let's see what he throws here.
See what he can do on the 2-2 towards Zack Biermann. Swinging strike three. Biermann caught behind a zooming fastball, and he's arguing as he makes his way back to the dugout. I don't think he liked the called strike two. Regardless, it's a strikeout for him. Back-to-back Ks for Rob Whalen here to lead off the third.
I'm an Otter fan, but I don't think Biermann has an argument on that called strike two. That was inside corner. In fact, the first strike was the same pitch he swung and missed at. So if he swung at one, why not the other?
Third baseman J.R. Davis at the plate now. The first offering towards him is low and outside, ball one. That's another. If Whalen can continually throw that pitch there, a slider that runs away from the zone, he's going to get a lot of guys to swing and miss.
Oh, yeah.
Whalen shakes off a couple. Now is going to fire home on the 1-0. Sent sharply towards the third baseman, Walters, on 2 hops. The throw to first is in time, and the side is retired in order for Washington. Tell you what, that's the Washington team that a lot of the league has gotten used to seeing. We're through 3. Still tied at 1 here from Evansville. Washington able to grab a run in the first. Evansville even things up in the second. And we saw our first scoreless inning in the third. Brett Adcock and the Otters back out there on the playing surface now. You know, I said it after that last half inning. I think Brett Adcock and this defense really needs either a 3-up, 3-down, or an inning that you only face 4 batters, or something quick that really kind of puts their foot down as, hey, you can't mess with us offensively.
Something positive for you.
Yeah. Jared Mang's going to kick off the half inning for Washington. On the day, he is 0 for 1 with a foul out to the right side. Long wait for Adcock. Has what he wants, and here comes the first pitch to Mang. Up high, ball 1.
That seemed to get away from him. I think he had a short stride and therefore released the ball high on that particular pitch. He didn't get that his front leg out far enough.
The 1-0.
There it is there. Now he did, see.
Ball stays low and inside, and it's a 2-0 count.
Now he was when he pitched 9 straight balls before he got a strike, and now he's 0-2.
2-0 to May.
3.
Oh, that looked like a good pitch on the high inside corner. In fact, it came across right at the elbows.
I'm going to say one thing. Get a pitcher warming up right now, because if he isn't throwing strikes, he's going to be in trouble.
Another pitch stays high, and it's a 4-pitch walk for Jared Ming to kick off this fourth.
Felix, go out and talk to him. Max, get someone warmed up. Delay the game a little.
Well, and that's another pitch that, I mean, of course, it's Yacker Tech, and we can't always trust the technology. It's another pitch that Adcock's had in the technical strike zone that he hasn't gotten called for. But, of course, you can't trust the technology. You've got to trust the man behind the plate. That's Mike Winstein tonight. He's got to be the one that's making these decisions.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, if Adcock has thrown.
Pitch got away from
Felix,
and he will not throw down to first.
Right. If Adcock has thrown 30 pitches, and the last 30 pitches, I'll say 19 have been balls. And that's a sign that he's lost command of his pitches.
Well, he's thrown 56 so far in this game, and of the 56, 33 have been strikes.
Okay, well, and they were all before all this rash of balls.
A bunt right back up the middle,
First
played
base.
by Adcock off the edge of his glove, and both runners are going to be safe.
That's a never on a pitcher.
Good bunt laid down by Brannon. Has runners at first and second.
Adcock fielded that in the heel of his glove and then tried to throw it, whatever. But the nice thing of that particular play was Felix, the catcher, went down to cover third base. Now that's heads up, and that's the way it should be. Now you got the same situation, runners on first and second, no outs, and this guy might be butting as well.
Yeah, Alex Alvarez, the catcher at the plate now, 0 for 1 with a ground and a double play back in the second inning. The Otters turned 2 4 times in the win at Schaumburg on Tuesday night. First pitch, Alvarez, a hefty swinging strike 1. He had the eyes filled with glory on that pitch.
Yeah, you know, different managers manage differently. To me, this is the perfect bunt situation with the score tied 1-1, and we're in the fourth. Runs have been few and far between.
Ball launched high in the infield. Armstrong
fly,
and Khalil both running towards it. It's now Biermann, and it's actually Felix who catches it basically over the top of the runner Alvarez, who was just standing underneath it.
Was it in fair territory?
It was hard to tell. He made the catch with his feet in foul territory, but he leaned over the foul fair line towards fair.
The reason I'm asking, the umpire, infield fly. Batter is out if fair. Runners may advance at their own. So if it was in foul territory, it wasn't the infield fly. Anyway, that's a big out.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate out for Alvarez. Just got underneath the ball, and
Well, there's the penalties by not bunting.
Yep, 1 out. Runners on first and second. Nick Ward back at the plate. He's 2 for 2 with a single and a double already. First pitch here is a convincing strike on the outside edge. That's the first time we've seen the outside edge activate a strike in a long time.
Right, and this guy's hit the ball hard both times at bat. The double, the lead off, and then the single at last up.
Well, there's a reason he's in the top 3 in batting average in the league, and it's because he makes solid contact a lot of the time.
I'll say 376. Wow.
0-1 falls low and outside. The count evens up. See, that's a good pitch. I like where Adcock tried to go there to try to get a man to chase.
No, you're right. It is a good pitch. But 376 before the game, he's 2 for 2. He automatically is better than 376 right now. He may be 385.
1 ball, 1 strike for Nick Ward. Pitch coming home towards him. Stays a bit low for ball 2. And I think the most impressive thing about it is Ward has played in now 55 games. He started 54 of those games and has a batting average of 370 plus. That's incredible.
You ain't kidding.
He's clocked 73 hits. 15 of them are home runs, and he's got 45 RBIs.
I'll tell you what, that is a pretty impressive. Oh, Adcock is mad at himself now.
Yeah, pitch bounced in, and he's down in the count 3-1.
Right, he's got to come across now with the strike because there's nowhere else to put him.
Now, I did see Brody Tanksley with his gear on run down to the
bullpen.
Otters bullpen, so it's possible we could see a man up here.
Well, it should have been last inning.
1 out, a 3-1 count to Nick Ward. A huge pitch here for the kid, Brett Adcock. 3-1. Called strike on the outside corner. I tell you what, that's a pitch he has not gotten called in the last couple innings.
Right.
He's lucky there.
Yes, I thought he was going to say ball 4, same way. Okay, a DP would get us out of this rally.
3 balls, 2 strikes to one of the best in the Frontier League, Nick Ward. There's runners at first and second with just 1 out. Payoff pitch for Ward. Runners in motion.
No, don't throw.
Felix will not throw.
Oh, no.
He was ready to throw just in case it was a strike, but the ball stayed high and
There was
the
no
bases
way.
are loaded.
That was over the batter's head. There was no way it could be called a strike. But anyway, give Felix credit for ready to explode, but thank God he didn't throw.
Well, I think it's just good catcher instinct. As soon as he saw the runners going, he was ready to throw
Right.
just in case. So
Right, exactly.
it's uplifting to see.
Yeah, it's heads up.
Chris Issei, who's 1 for 2 on the day with an RBI double, now heads to the plate with the bases loaded and just 1 out. Otters need something on the ground. First pitch to him, launched high towards shallow
Now that's
second
infield
base.
fly.
Charging in is Armstrong. He brings it in for out number 2, and that is a huge out. Otters once again in this game have been gifted by a pop-up to second.
Number 6.
Boy, if we can get this guy out, that'll be about the 3rd inning that we've survived.
Washington brings Wagner Lagrange to the plate. He's 1 for 2 with a single back in the first. He's got the bases loaded and 2 outs. First pitch here, called strike right down the middle. Adcock attacked with the off speed. Could have been dangerous if Lagrange took a swing at it. Lagrange batting .321 on the season, 39 RBIs to his name.
I mean, the guy before him, 45 RBIs. This guy, 39 RBIs. What's our best RBI man? Maybe 29, 30?
Yeah, right now it's Jeffrey Baez at 34. He's tied alongside Zack Biermann with 34.
Compared to these guys, they must score an awful lot of runs. That's why they're in first place, I guess.
A 1-1 to Lagrange. Stays high, ball 2. And Adcock is definitely frustrated with himself.
And I tell you what, he has lost it. Let's be honest. You're rooting for him. I'm rooting for him. But tonight, he seems to have lost command. He's not the same pitcher we saw pitch strike 14 guys out.
The 2-1 lifted high and mid-deep to right field. Mcnamee chasing on towards the foul line, and he brings it in for out number 3. And the Wild Things strand 3 for the second straight inning. They've now stranded 10 through 4 innings. We head to the bottom half of the 4th, still tied at 1 run apiece. To the bottom of the 4th we go. Like I mentioned right before the break, 4 innings, and Washington's already stranded 10 men. The Otters are lucky that they have not given up a lot more runs.
The Otters would be thankful that the good Lord's on their side so far, because, like you say, I mean, we've had the bases loaded and gotten out of these jams. So far, only 1 run has scored in all the innings that they've had runners on second and third.
First pitch to Jeffrey Baez is a called strike to kick off the bottom of the 4th for the Otters. And despite this game moving fairly quickly, it seemed, at least it feels like, you mentioned there in the break, it's getting dark quick here. It already feels very dark out there.
Right. It's not even 8 o'clock. I mean, generally on a Sunday, I try to get out of here, go home before it gets dark, and I generally leave about 7:45, and it's still light out. Here it's 7:45 now, and it's a little darkish.
1-1 to Baez is chopped foul to the left side, and he falls back in the count 1-2. It's Baez, Sinsley, and Khalil due up for the Otters here in the half inning. Tell you what, one thing is for sure, and that's Rob Whalen knows how to get himself out of a tough spot.
Probably a low outside pitch, and there it is.
1-2, push to the right side, down for a base hit for Baez. He said, go ahead, throw me my weak pitch, and I'll push it into the outfield anyway.
It wasn't that low. It stayed up there a little long, which gave Baez the opportunity. Now, are we going to bunt him or not? I mean, last time he stole second.
Steven Sinsley will be at the plate now, and I would imagine, at least this is what I think is going to happen. I would imagine Sinsley's going to probably take the first 2 pitches and hope that Baez steals on one of the 2, so that then they could bunt a man over and potentially bring him in. You want him on third with just 1 out, basically. First pitch to Steven Sinsley here. They're going to go check on Baez, and he's back in time. Baez is another one of those guys that you never really think of as a stolen base threat, but he always seems to snag a couple off you. In fact, he's got 245 to his career, spanning over 910 games.
That's quite a bit of stolen bases, I'll tell you that.
First pitch to Steven Sinsley now. No, they're going to throw over to first again. So they are obviously aware of my game plan of allowing Baez to steal on one of the first 2 pitches. Probably a good thing I'm up here. Defense is playing with a tiny bit of a shift. There is a huge gap to the left side of the infield. Now the first pitch to Sinsley. Indeed it is. And it's a ball on the outside edge.
At third baseman is playing deep.
Actually, I said the outside edge. Whalen asked the home plate umpire where it was, and the home plate umpire, Weinstein, pointed downward, so it must have missed a little low.
Yeah, I thought it was low. Anyway, if Sinsley was to bunt, boy, he's got a perfect third base sound.
The 1-0. Lifted high towards mid-deep left field. Mang seems to be parked underneath it, and indeed he is for out number 1. That ball was skied high, but easy enough play to make for Mang. And the Otters are not able to move the runner over with the first out.
Shortstop number 28.
You know, the way this guy is pitching, the way the Otters are hitting, I would have been bunting. I'm not going to take the chance. I mean, runs are going to be few and far between today on both sides.
George Khalil at the plate now. His last time up, he had an RBI single that evened the game up at 1 run apiece. First pitch home to George Khalil on the way. And it's a called strike on the high outside corner. A little bit of a later call there for Mike Weinstein.
He doesn't emphasize that strike too much, does he, by putting that hand
Yeah,
out?
he punches forward instead of sideways.
Right. He must have been Sears and Roebuck's license. Baez is getting a lead. He's getting bugs.
The 0-1 to Khalil.
He's strike 2.
Stays high for ball 1, and the count evens up at 1 ball, 1 strike.
Now, I would have reversed those calls. That would be a strike, and the other one would be a ball. But he's there. We're here.
Baez wanted to go on that last pitch.
Oh, I thought he was. I thought the bugs were biting him.
But he stays put. 1-1 the count to the Australian shortstop, George Khalil.
See him? It looks like he's going now.
A 1-1 to Khalil. Pitch low and outside. They're going to go check down, and they say no, George Khalil did not go around, and he's ahead 2-1.
But Baez is really faking me out. I mean, he looks like he's going to go, and then...
Well, it could be that he's trying to do the exact thing that he's doing to you to Rob Whalen right now and
maybe.
stay in his mind.
I know. If I was the catcher, I'd be getting a throwing position every time I get that ball.
The more you can stay in that pitcher's mind, the less he's thinking about the man at the plate.
See, now here, right now, he's no threat. See, I mean, he's...
A 2-1 to Khalil.
Yeah.
Stays outside, and he's ahead 3-1 in the count.
Right. Now, this is a gamble.
And that was a very frustrated Whalen as he received the ball back.
This is a gamble right now, Matthew. It's a 3-1 count.
I could see the hit and run happening here.
Yes,
absolutely. I could.
Yes.
I must have been able to read your sign over there.
You are. You read the key.
3-1. There goes Baez. The throw out to second looks really good, and Baez is out.
Well, what about the can't be out if it's ball 4?
The umpire out there made the out call.
Well,
but
again,
I don't think anyone realized that it was a walk.
Right. That's it. I mean, yes.
Khalil was still standing at home.
Right. And it confined me because the umpire at home never called anything.
Well, that's why I called out, because the umpire out there made the out sign, and then he looked back at home and saw Khalil starting to run.
Right.
Sometimes we get confused too.
Well, we're confused because the umpires are confusing us.
Yeah.
If the umpire had, given a ball 4, okay, so you threw Baez out at second, but again, he's entitled to it.
So Justin Felix at the plate now with 2 on and 1 out. His last time up, he earned himself a single. First offering to him. Sent sharply to the left side. Pass for a base hit. There goes Baez around third. He's going to score easily. They're going to keep the runner at third. It's an RBI double for Justin Felix. He struck that ball so well down the line.
Well, that's what you get for infielders playing the ball backhanded, where it hits off the heel of the glove and continues on its way outward. If they only get their body in front of it, but again, that's the way young ball players play today.
Well, and I tell you what, Washington's lucky it wasn't a second run scoring. Khalil had a great jump running around.
Yep, he did.
But it was probably smart to keep him where he was at.
Okay.
Andy Armstrong at the plate now. Runners at second and third and one out. Everyone's playing in for him.
Well, if Andy were to hit that ball like he did last time.
Tries to bunt to the right side, and it dribbles just foul. I like the idea there.
So do I.
Little squeeze play for a run scored, but it just dribbled foul.
The only thing Andy does wrong, he's tried that several times. And what he's doing, he's trying to get it down the line. He's got to get it. He's got to get the first baseman to come in and the pitcher to come in. Anyway, Andy's a good little ball player. We don't need to tell him anything.
Felix at second. Khalil at third. There's one out. And a 0-1 count to Andy Armstrong. Big RBI chance for him. Pitch is coming home. Sent to the left side, past the diving third baseman. A long throw to first is in time. That is a wonderful play by Ward.
Yes, but an RBI for Armstrong, so we get the
Armstrong taken out on the 6-3 fielder's choice, but it is an RBI.
That's the second time Armstrong has gotten robbed of a base hit. I mean, that normally is out there in left field for a base hit, but that shortstop really came up with a big play.
When it was almost a beautiful play by Walters at third, he just about got over to it.
Right.
That'll bring the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game to the plate, Miles Gordon, with the Otters now up 3-1. First pitch home is a called strike on the outside edge. That's a good pitch.
Yep. The Otters, what is it, 6-6 hits or no, 5-5 hits? Is that what I'm reading up there in the scoreboard? 5-5?
5-5, yeah.
But the Otters have capitalized.
The 0-1. A half swing, and it stays inside. Count evens up at 1 ball, 1 strike. A little bit of a wait here before the next pitch. The 1-1 works its way outside, and Miles Gordon takes the lead in the count 2-1.
That's Felix at second base, isn't it?
Yes.
I don't know of his speed, but he's certainly possibility he could walk the third base right now. Look what the shortstop's playing. The second baseman's in right field.
When the pitches come home, he gets a good extra hop.
Right. He could be running right now.
2-1 to Miles Gordon. Zoomed out towards right field. Roa is making a play towards the foul line and brings it in for out number 3, but not before the Otters score 2 runs. First on an RBI double from Felix, and then an RBI fielder's choice from Armstrong. We've played 4. Evansville leads 3-1. I want to remind you that Frontier League Baseball, both here on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports, is presented by Budweiser. the king of beers. We head to the top half of the fifth inning here, and now Brett Adcock gets the pitch with a lead for the first time in the game. An impressive half inning there for the Otters to link a couple hits together.
Well, I'm going to say this. If the first batter gets on, walk, hit, base, error, or whatever, I'd have someone warming up because Adcock has thrown too many pitches so far, and they're not strikes. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen him pitch so far in any of the other games where he's run the count with 3 balls on so many batters.
Andrew Chick, Hector Roa, and Ian Walters will be the latest 3 to face off against him. There's only one man for Washington who has not reached base safely in that game. It's the catcher, Alex Alvarez. Everybody else has found a way to get on base at least once. First pitch to Andrew Chick. Misses on the outside edge for ball 1. Worth noting, just as an FYI for everyone that's watching or listening, looks like just after 9 we could have a pop-up shower. Looks like it might last 10 minutes tops, but it is still a potential.
Oh, really?
Very small chances, and if they hit, they're going to be very small bursts. But there is a chance that a couple might hit us here in the next, maybe after the next hour.
Okay, well, Adcock has got 2 balls on him now. The last one was high, and right now he's got himself in. Wow.
Ball hit sharply to the right side, through for a base hit. And chalk it up to now all 5 innings. The leadoff man has gotten on either by walk or by base hit.
Now, see, I would have someone warming up. As we often say, you don't have to use the pitcher warming up, but have somebody ready in case. And it looks like someone's going down to their bullpen to warm up.
I saw 2 men run down from the dugouts to our bullpen, so it's possible that Evansville might start to get a man going. First pitch to Hector Roa is a called strike 1. Haven't seen anyone pop up to throw quite yet.
Well, let's not wait too long.
Adcock ready on the 0-1. It's sent right back towards us. Luckily, we've got a nice couple-year-old net in front of us that keeps us safe, and it's just an 0-2.
Well, let me assure you, Matthew, I would have gotten it and protected you.
Awesome. Well,
I have my Kesher Smith with me ready to go into action.
It's good to hear.
Yes.
Always got to be ready to make the play.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
This is one of the few press boxes that doesn't get protected by, or that is protected by a netting behind home.
Well, you know, by law, the netting has to be, I don't remember now, 50 feet or 70 feet from home plate on both sides, because somebody got hit with a foul ball back in 1920 or something.
The 1-2 to Roa. Sits sharply towards Khalil. Takes a weird hop, but he gets to second for 1. To first in time, and it's another double play. My goodness.
Oh, yeah.
That took such a weird hop on Khalil, but yet he made that look so seamless.
Well, when you got good hands, soft hands, no matter how bad the hop is, you can adjust. Tony Kubek used to play short for the New York Yankees. He used to come in and field balls on the run, and you could be surprised how many times the ball went up his arm. He would take the ball off his arm to throw it to first base.
Ian Walters starts with a ball up high, and with that ground in a double play, the Otters have turned a double play 10 times in now the last 4 games.
How many today? Is 3.
This is the 3rd time today.
Right, yeah. So 3 out of 10. Wow.
1-0 to Walters.
You know
Called
what?
strike on the outside edge.
Travis Jackson, who was one of the premier minor league managers for the Braves, would say, you know, yes, the infielders are doing their part. We set a record for X amount, but it's the pitchers who are allowing them to hit the ball.
1-1, right back
Base
up the
hit.
middle, down for a base hit. That is just solid contact. There's nothing you can do about that.
No. And just imagine if that double play wasn't executed, we might have had runners on first and third.
Very possible.
21, Jared May.
Yet again, Adcock is helped out by his defense and still going strong on this one. Jared Mang at the plate now with a runner on first and 2 outs here in the top of the 5th inning.
Well, he needs to complete this inning in order to get the credit. If the Otters were to go on and win from the present scoring, he needs to get this 3rd out.
And if he can get it in this at-bat, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Otters want to give him the whole 6th inning as well. 1-0. Sounds like a cracked bat. Over to Khalil. He'll play it on 2 hops. The throw to first is in plenty of time for out number 3. The 3rd double play of the night has helped the Otters put down the Wild Things yet again. We head to the bottom half of the 5th as the Otters lead this one 3-1 on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. Well, we just passed the center point of the game, and we're through 4.5. Evansville has seemed to find a little bit of a balance between both solid offense in a couple of innings and really good defensive work. That's why they're ahead in this ballgame.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this. If the Otters were to win, the way the game is being played right now, it's not an Adcock win. It's not an Otter win. It's a defensive win. The defense has held this game in bay. And if it wasn't for them executing 3 double plays in crucial situations, who knows what the score would be.
Well, it seems like the Otters have picked up a lot of defensive wins recently.
Well, they need it. I mean, as you say, if they're not scoring, if they're getting runners on but not scoring, you need good pitching.
Elijah Mcnamee is going to kick off the half inning for the Otters. He'll be followed by Biermann and Davis here as we come to the 5th inning. McNamee's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, both on pitches that broke low and away from him. First pitch he sees here is high and inside. He lets it go for ball 1. Secret weapon, trying to bring a little energy into this crowd here at historic Bosse Field. As the 1-0 comes home to McNamee. Low and outside. He stays off that one. He's up 2-0.
And that's the pitch he's been striking out on. Same one. He let go this time, but with 2 strikes, he goes fetching for it.
The 2-0 to Elijah McNamee. Sent sharply foul to the right side, out of play for strike 1.
All is brought to you by Hex Construction. Choose the best. Never regret.
While there's a lull in the action, it'd be nice to hear about Phillips getting an operation or making the All-Star team, or what's the latest on Phillips?
2-1 sent back into the netting, evens the count up at 2-2. At least what I've heard is that it sounds like he's going to try to make it to the All-Star game there at Washington next week, at least to get recognized and be part of the All-Star festivities. I do believe that the plan is surgery on the left hand to fix a fracture down inside the hand, but I have heard that he's hoping, if everything goes right, potentially a playoff return for the Otters.
Well,
2-2 is sent foul yet again.
It'd be nice if he goes to the All-Star game, be recognized, and take a flight out of Pittsburgh down there to Texas, get that operation, and be back for the playoffs.
Well, and one thing is for certain, and that is whether he gets to play in it or not, he's an All-Star, and he's earned that
right.
significantly. A 2-2 to Mcnamee. Zoom towards the shortstop, takes a weird hop. He plays it very well to first in time. What a play there from Nick Ward at short.
Right. Yeah, the one thing you can't take away from Phillips, he's an all-star, elected by his
First baseman, number 45.
adversaries, the opposing managers and coaches, and recognize his talent. Even though he don't play and suit up, he's still an all-star. And the funny thing is, you said he was an all-star since the beginning of the season, so you should get credit for his nomination.
Well, you know, obviously it's the criteria I use when I look at who should an MVP be, but I use it for the All-Star game as well, and it's which players, if you took off the team, would instantly make the team worse. And that was Dakota Phillips.
Yeah.
No matter where you plugged him into the lineup, he was huge in the success of the team.
Okay, that's a good analysis. Okay.
1-0 to Biermann. He launches one towards right field, but
That's
it's
a double.
right towards
That's a
Roa,
double.
and Roa's going to bring it in for
Oh, he
out
is?
number 2.
Did I lose that?
It was hit very sharply, but it was almost dead at Roa in right field.
Oh, in right field. Okay, I thought it was right center. I'll tell you what, I have a hard time seeing in that outfield anywhere. To me, the lights need to be adjusted, but that's me.
It's a tough place to call a game from here at Bossy Field because we have the awning above us and a girder in front of us. It is kind of hard to see some sight lines here at this ballpark.
Right. I'm going to ask Mr. Bussing one more time. Cut that girder down.
First pitch to J.R. Davis with 2 outs and nobody on. This ball 1 on the outside edge. I'm sure that they could, make you a new press or a new little broadcast booth right behind home plate. Put us in a glass box or something.
That would be a good idea. In Johnstown, Pennsylvania, Johnstown used to be in the Slig. Johnstown Johnny's years ago. And the press box is directly in back of home plate, field level. So yeah, you're like the catcher or the umpire. You're looking at field level. Yeah, Johnstown Johnnies.
1 ball, 1 strike for J.R. Davis. 2 outs, nobody on here in the bottom half of the 5th. 1-1 is a competitive pitch, a little bit low. He disagrees and turns back towards home plate umpire Mike Weinstein. But eventually just nods and says, okay, I'll fix it this time.
Got me to look up now, Johnstown, what year?
1 ball and 2 strikes for J.R. Davis. 2 outs, nobody on, trying to keep this 5th inning alive for Evansville. They currently lead 3-1 as we pass the middle point of this game. The 1-2. Way inside, ball 2. Actually ended up being a lot closer than I thought. I said way inside, but it finished pretty nicely. That'll send us to a 2-2 count with 2 outs. Whalen delivers on the 2-2, way inside, just about hit Davis. He's able to spin out of the way in time. The count goes to 3-2. Three-two full count for J.R. Davis. There's 2 outs and nobody on. The bottom half of the 5th. Jeffrey Baez sits in wake in the on-deck circle just in case. Whalen fires home on the payoff pitch for Davis. Pushed foul to the right side. He'll stay alive. No action in either bullpen, although we've seen a couple of wild things start to do a little bit of stretching here and there, but none have actually started to throw. A 3-2 for J.R. Davis with 2 outs and nobody on. Let's try again on the payoff pitch. Sent sky high behind home plate. Is he going to get out? Looks like it is, and it will. It lands on the roof.
Brought to you by Ed's Construction. Choose the best. Never regret it.
Yeah, Johnstown was in the league in 1996. And Otters won 3, lost 5. But in 97, They kind of beat us. So, yeah, going back.
3-2 the count for J.R. Davis. We're going to try again for the third time on a payoff pitch. This one zoomed down the left field line. Chasing after it is Mang towards the corner, and it's just foul. He hit that one hard.
I thought that was going to be fair. I mean, it wasn't foul by much, maybe 5 foot. But to travel from home down there 310 feet, it kind of drifted in the foul area.
On it. Certainly got over the brick wall out there as well.
Yes, it did. But give JR credit. He's really defending that home.
Otters are playing in a little different surface here. 315 to the corners here. It was 350 to the corners there at Schaumburg.
Really? 350? 5-0?
Yeah, 353 to the corners.
Oh, my God.
Let's try again on a 3-2 to Davis. Swinging strike 3, and that will end the inning. He tried his best to stay with him in the count, but it ends up being a 3-up, 3-down inning for the second time for the Otters. We've played 5. Evansville leads by 2.
At the Otterston Team Store, selling you all the latest.
Want to remind you that Frontier League Baseball on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports is presented by Old National Bank, your bank for Evansville, your bank for life.
You know, may I add a little education within this broadcast? The Evansville Otters have a general manager by the name of Travis Painter, and he is everything. I mean, he takes care of the field, and he just got finished dragging the field. That man is worth every penny he makes. He has been a super addition.
It feels like every moment I'm at the ballpark, from 9 a.m. to the time the game starts, he's on this field carrying for it. First pitch to Brannon, sent out towards left field. Bias changed directions like 4 times, but he brings it in for a first pitch out number 1.
So you were saying he's a baseball man all the way. He's a graduate of James Madison University down there in Virginia, same college my daughter graduated from. And I'll tell you what, I don't know him that well. I keep my distance, but I know one thing. He's a well-trained baseball man.
And he just cares about this city, that he cares about this team. He cares about this fan base, these players. He gives everything he is to this team and this city, and it shows.
Well, I'm glad we have him. And Travis, thank you for being with us.
Yeah, we're incredibly lucky with both Travis Painter as our GM and John Stanley as our president, even Bill Bussing as our owner. It's a wonderful ownership group within this team.
Well, I agree with you on there, plus the great broadcaster and you.
Well, it
So let's make it.
helps to have you here next to me.
Oh,
Alex Alvarez is at the plate now, looking at a 2-0 count. Hefty pitches sent foul to the right side will get well out of play for the first strike of the count. Jacob Bowles has gotten up and is starting to throw for the Otters down in the right field bullpen. Of course, Bowles is a guy you expect to give you 2 innings every time. And maybe if they think they can get Adcock through this inning, maybe 7 and 8 would be Brahms and potentially set up Logan Sawyer.
Well, the one thing we're missing so far in this game
2-1
is
on this
Adcock's getting ahead of the batters, having an 0-2 count, which he had in that 14-inning game. Here he's kind of 1-1, 2-2, 3-1.
One, and I'll wait till after this next pitch as he sends home a 2-2 for another foul ball out of play. The thing that impresses me is that he's been able to rely on his defense, and he's been able to rely on a fly ball to help him get outs in this game. So even in the game when he's not being able to get ahead in counts, he's still moving through the game fairly efficiently, still under 90 pitches here in the 6th.
Yep. Well,
all things considered, it's not too bad for him.
No, if you take, I'm going to say the 30 balls that he walked, 2 or 3 batters, he might have, let's say, a 20 balls, 50 strike ratio.
The 3-2 stays up high, and Alvarez is going to earn himself a 1-out walk.
Yeah, and see, that's what we mean about too many walks.
With that walk, every single Washington Wild thing has reached base now.
Back to the top of the order.
Brett Adcock is now at 90 pitches. 51 of them have been strikes, so certainly not a bad
not bad,
ratio
but not
there.
good. Put it that way.
He'll certainly be over 50% strikes once he hits 100.
Yeah, but I mean, putting those runners on via the walk is not conducive to good pitching.
First pitch is a called strike on the outside edge for Nick Ward. Ward has reached all 3 times, a single, a double, and a walk. He's going to be fun to watch all weekend long. I guarantee you he's going to be someone to worry about in this league all year long.
Well, I agree with you. 376 batting average, my God. Plus 15
in 50
home runs.
games. Yeah, he's played a ton of ball games. The 0-1, swinging strike 2, man. He looked lost on that pitch.
You know, if you're a manager now and you're making up your lineup, you say, okay, he's going to bat third because he's our best hitter. But then you say, wait a minute, he's our best hitter, but he's our best home run hitter. So now he should be batting fourth. So now where do you put him?
The best thing about Ward is he has 13 more walks than he has strikeouts. He flies one out towards left center field, and it's actually Baez who calls everybody off and brings it in for out number 2. 2-hands it to make sure it stays in the glove.
But getting back to Ward, he's not batting third, he's not batting fourth, he's batting first. Why? Maybe because batting first, he'd get a chance to bat more.
Well, and he's also helped out by the fact that Issei, Lagrange, and Czech, all behind him, are all guys who are batting over or close to 300. So he's got solid bats behind him. Max Peterson's making a walk out there to chat with this pitcher. Adcock could be how are we feeling? Think we can get this last out, or we need to make a change? There will be a change here that'll end the day for Brett Adcock. We'll take a short break with him. Jacob Bowles coming in now. We'll let you know more about him now as the crowd stands and applauds Brett Adcock on a mighty fine outing. Let you know who's coming in right after this. There he is, Jacob Bowles, the man called upon for the Otters. Tell you what, Bowles was an all-star nominee, and for good reason. Here in the last few weeks, he's become one of the most reliable relievers in the Otters bullpen. His last outing was last night, where he gave up just 2 hits, no runs in 1 1/3 inning. Also struck out 2. He's pitched in 5 of the last 10 games the Otters have played in. He's going to look to keep things going here and keep the game where it's at with 2 outs. This call to the bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. Bowles on the mound, Felix behind the plate. The pitcher catcher battery is sponsored by The Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at The Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road, or give them a call at 812-475-9000. 1 out. That's all you need right here.
I don't care if it's Abbott or Costello out in that mound, as long as they throw strikes. That's all I want. Throw strikes.
Bowles taking his time to look in. Obviously pitching out of the stretch. First pitch to Chris Issei. Swinging strike 1. Just blasted it past him.
That was, 86 miles an hour? It looked like the batter was a little slow with that swing.
Issei's 1 for 3 on the day. A fly out, a pop out, and a RBI double. The 0-1 for him here. Zoomed out towards right field. Mcnamee chasing back towards the wall at the warning track, and it's off the wall. Mcnamee picks it up, the throw in. They're keeping the runner at third, and rightfully so. Would have been a play at home. But there's runners at second and third now after the double from Chris Issei, his second of the day.
Well, to me, that looked like a breaking pitch, but hung up there in his strike zone around the letters, which gave him the chance to slap at that. So, I don't know how you saw it, but
just looked like solid contact. Solid contact.
It was solid contact, no doubt about it. And if Big Mac can't get it out there, you know it's a good hit.
That'll bring up Wagner Lagrange, who's 1 for 3 on the day. A single back in the first, and now a pop out and a fly out to his name. Enters the game batting .321 with 39 RBIs. For reference, that would be the highest on the Otters, 39. First pitch home, called strike right across the plate.
Okay, now he got ahead of the first batter with an 85 or 86 mile an hour fastball. And then that curve hung up there and got the double. Fortunately, no damage right now, but he comes back with a fastball for a strike. What's he going to throw again? Fastball or curve?
Well, he's really taking his time to decide, and it's actually going to cause a time to be called by Lagrange at the plate.
Well, I'm going to throw a fastball because I can't take a chance of that curveball hanging.
Last year, Lagrange played in the Mets AA affiliate Binghamton Rumble Ponies, and he's caught swinging at a low away pitch for strike 2.
And that was 86? Looked like that guy was a little late too. So he's ahead, and he's got to come back in the same location, same pitch.
Trust your catcher to keep the ball in front of him.
Yes.
And Felix, be prepared to move, I guess. The 0-2 to Wagner Lagrange. Oh, just missed on the low corner.
I don't like Felix being sitting on one knee with a runner on third base. You lose your agility. If that is wide low outside, I think we're in trouble.
Runners at second and third. 1-2 count with 2 outs. To Lagrange. Pitch on the way. Swinging strike 3. And Brett Adcock had a huge fist bump there in the dugout. That's a huge out to get. We head to the bottom half of the 6th. Otters still lead by 2. And Adcock still in line for the win.
experience, but the Evansville Otters.
Well, we're ready to go now in the bottom of the sixth. Kind of feels like we hit the slow motion button on this game. Game's starting to slow down. We're getting into that part of the game where strategy with your pitching changes has to be perfect. We saw the Otters bring in Bowles. He gives up the base hit, but he threw strikes, got out of the inning.
That's what counts. He's got to throw strikes. Yes, all right. He threw a strike. He hung the curveball double. But then he comes back to the next batter and throws 3 fastballs, and he gets swinging strikeout 3, and no one scores. So an outstanding job in coming out of the relief.
And it's uplifting to see him do that, as we expect him to probably pitch the next at least 1 inning, maybe 2, to end off that one that way.
Well, I hope so, and then bring in the all-star closer.
First pitch to Baez. Big curveball for a called strike 1 on the inside.
Baez wasn't ready. He just looked at that one because I think he was completely fooled.
Kenny Pearson has been starting to throw for Washington, especially that last half inning. The 0-1 to Baez. A half swing. They
Strike.
say, did he go?
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't, says the first base umpire, Ty Unthing.
He said he didn't. Oh, there's a difference of opinions. Anyway, this guy here, 99, Whalen is pitching a heck of a good game.
Absolutely. Exactly what you expect out of Rob Whalen. 1-1. Ooh, hefty swinging strike 2. Baez was way ahead of that off speed.
Baez was looking for that one to come over the 400-foot side.
And I think I saw Baez with a small grin towards his third base coach. I think he knew right away he got fooled.
Yeah.
A 1-2 for Baez. Able to put one in play, but it will dribble foul to the left side. And it ends up being Walters who picks the ball up and tosses it towards his dugout.
That is one of Baez's weaknesses, that off-speed pitch. He jumps after them, and very seldom does he ever make contact, not even foul the ball off. I think he rotates his body in such a manner that he can't make contact.
The 1-2 to Baez. Off the handle of the bat out towards shallow center, and it's going to fall for a base hit. I tell you what, it looked like a really good run for Issei, but he was running over the wrong shoulder, so when he made the turn, he lost the ball.
Yeah, I thought that was I'm agreeing with you on that one. Well, here we are. Okay. You got the Stanley, the first baseman, coming. We're in, the 6th? All right, we've got a 2-run lead, but I am not going to rest with that 2 runs.
Absolutely not.
I'm going to have, especially that third baseman plays deep for Sinsley because they expect him to pull so much. Get that runner in scoring position because Diaz can score from second on a base hit.
Chances are you'll get on first base with the way that the infield's playing you.
Yeah. Let's see how Andy plays it.
First pitch to Sinsley, big swing, and he was just a bit ahead of the curveball that fell underneath the bat.
I'd say he missed that by the school bus. Well, Andy's not giving any signs, so that means there's no bunt situation.
4 different Wild Things stand up in the bullpen. Now 5, now 6. Not sure which one's going to start throwing. The 0-1 for Sinsley. Zoomed right back up the middle, threw for a base hit, takes a wild hop on the lip. There goes Baez towards third. The throw won't be in time, and it is back-to-back singles to lead off the 6th. Exactly what the Otters need.
Oh, yeah, and that was a low fastball that Sinsley just uppercutted it right up the middle.
And it's only at Bossy Field that you see a lip make a ball bounce like that. That probably jumped 20 feet in the air off that lip.
Yeah.
And in reality, I think that bounce off the lip did enough to slow the ball down. I think that's what caused Baez to round towards third. And he was
I
moving.
don't think Baez was going to stop anyway. I was watching him.
He was hustling.
Yes, he was going to third no matter what.
Well, there are 2 men throwing and 2 men protecting down in the Wild Thing bullpen right now. It looks like they've got the whole squad out.
Well, the outfielder, the right fielder, and center fielder are conversing. The catcher, pitcher, and second baseman are conversing.
And kind of just looked like everyone was in their own conversations there. Shortstop with the umpire, the second baseman with the pitcher and catcher who are alongside the pitching coach, and it looks like everyone's ready to go. I tell you what, this is a huge scenario in this game. Otters could really start to hammer down in this game if they can add a couple of runs here. And I think most of all, they're proving that it doesn't matter which pitcher they're facing. Even if it's the league's best right now, they want to give him loss number 2.
You said a 9-1 record, leads the league in most wins, and he's a commendable pitcher. But here we got Big George here. All he needs to do is fly ball. Even if it's a double play, we can get that run in.
He's already brought in 1 run today.
Yes.
Nobody out. There's runners on the corners for George Khalil, the Melbourne, Australia native. First pitch to him here. He shows bunt, and it stays low for ball 1. Good on Sinsley to get himself a big jump towards first because there's no one playing first base. Just in case that ball gets a little too far away, who's keeping you at first?
Well, you don't want to gamble on getting thrown out at second because that would kill the rally real quick.
Absolutely.
So, but you're right. Get a big lead.
Especially if the first baseman's charging in and the second baseman's not playing first.
Right.
Why not?
You want to prevent the double play.
Yeah. A 1-0 to George Khalil. See if he drops bunt again. He does not. He puts it to the left side, through for a base hit. Baez scores, and the Otters have advanced their lead to 3. What a hard hit ball from Khalil again tonight.
Isn't that similar to the first one he hit?
Almost just like it.
Right. And I tell you, the Otters got an insurance run.
And do you remember who he brought in on that last one?
But here we got, who's coming up? Felix?
That's Felix now, who's 2 for 2 with a single and a double.
Yet, you've still got the runners on first and second and no outs. I bet Andy plays it hit away.
With Armstrong up next, though, I wouldn't be surprised to see Felix drop down a bunt. It's kind of a crapshoot. Felix has been very good tonight. 2 hard hit balls, including his double down the left field line his last time up.
Yes. Well, that was when the third baseman backhanded it instead of getting his body in front of it, and it just carried down the left field line. You're right. But it was a hard hit ground ball.
The first pitch to Justin Felix with no outs and runners on first and second. Boy, they're holding Sinsley close at second. Showing bunts as Felix, it stays away, gets away. There goes Sinsley towards third. The throw over, not in time. I tell you what, that third baseman Walters has an argument. That was a close play.
I tell you, give credit to the catcher here, Alvarez. I mean, he hustled back and he shot a bullet to third base. I thought he was out. I'm being honest. I thought he was out.
It looked like Sinsley slid on the outside part of the plate, so all he had to sneak in was one hand, and I think that's what did it for him.
Okay.
I think he just pure went under the tag.
Well, let's put it this way. The Otters got a break.
There's now runners at first and third with a 1-0 count to Felix. On the play, Khalil did not decide to go ahead. He stayed at first. It's possible that Sinsley heard Andy yelling, come on, come on, come on, and Khalil didn't. It's hard to tell.
Okay.
We can't hear that from up here. A 1-0 count to Justin Felix. Wonder if he's bunting now.
I would say no.
A 1-0, and he pushes it to the left side. Played to second for 1, to first, a little hesitation, and because of the hesitation, Felix is in and scores a run. And now that pass ball means a whole lot more.
Yes, and also executing the double play. The infielder hesitated. He looked at home. Should he throw it to home or should he go with the first? By undeciding, the runner on the batter now gets on first base.
And he gets himself an RBI. We head to a new pitcher as the day has ended for Rob Whalen. We'll let you know who it is right after this. Evansville now up by 4 over the West Division's top team.
But
Well, we're still in the bottom of the 6th inning. Evansville has scored 2 runs to expand their lead out to 4 now, and a new pitcher is needed for Washington. Kenny Pearson, in out of the bullpen, hails from Sheffield Lake, Ohio, stands 6'4" up there on the bump. And this season, he's appeared in 22 games, an ERA just shy of 4, a 28-5 strikeout to walk ratio. That's what helps set him apart. This call to the bullpens, presented by our friends at BCS Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs.
Well, he's got that low 3/4 type delivery. Looks like he's swinging the ball.
It's Pearson on the mound, Alvarez behind the plate. That pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road, or give them a call at 812-475-9000. And we are ready to continue play in the bottom of the 6th. There's a runner on first with just 1 out. That's the thing. Even if the double play would have happened, it still would have only been 2 outs.
Right.
But that small hesitation was all it took.
Right. You're either going to make the play at home or play the first. He hesitated. Both runners are scored. I mean, the runner on third scored. The batter got on first.
Armstrong starts with a called strike 1 on the high inside corner. Andy, the former Oregon State Beaver. And immediately as he walked up, the third baseman, Walters, started to very slowly walk up towards the infield grass. Now he shows bunt to the left side. Perfect bunt down. That is a base hit. The second he saw that third baseman stay back is when he laid it down. Right before that at bat, you could see his helmet just barely turn left, and I guarantee that was his look out to third.
And how many times have we preached since the beginning of the season Armstrong's strength in the bunt?
So that'll bring up Miles Gordon, the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game.
I mean, Armstrong is probably the best bunter on this team.
Well, and I like that he's really turned it into a situational style skill.
Right.
Don't do it every time. Find the perfect moments. That time, the third baseman had maybe a momentary lapse of thinking and scooted back, and because he did, there's nobody else that could put a ball that perfect like Armstrong.
Well, here's the same situation with Gordon. If Gordon would bunt more, he then could slot that ball to left field. Look at that gap he's got now between third and short. We'll bring the third baseman in, he's even got more room.
The 0-1 to Gordon. Pitch stays outside, and the count evens up at 1 ball, 1 strike with runners at first and second. Well, I know that the Otters haven't taken BP every day in the last couple of weeks, but when they have, Miles Gordon leads it off, probably with 2 minutes of just him bunting while everybody gets in place.
Oh, is that right?
Outfield. He's really been working on his.
Okay, well, that's good. Work on your strength.
You can never be a perfect ball player, but you can always improve little pieces.
You can improve.
The 1-1 to Gordon. Stays outside. He's ahead 2-1.
You know, it's like Joe Fulks. You probably don't even know who Joe Fulks is. Joe Fulks used to hold the record for foul shots in the NBA, and he used to make his foul shots from underneath, not outside, but underneath. He had like a 98%.
2-1 to Gordon, stays low.
Yeah.
And this is where, I know I brought it up, I think last half inning, I said we're into the part of the game where the pitching change strategy is going to play a big factor.
You did say it.
And now as we see Kenny Pearson enter this game, first he allows the bunt to get on, and now he's struggling to find the zone against Gordon. You never know if it was the right time till after you've made the move.
That's right, exactly.
The 3-1 stays low, and the bases are loaded.
No, you're right. Sometimes you take the pitcher out at the wrong time. I mean, personally, I thought Whalen was doing an excellent job.
Oh, I thought Whalen's been very good tonight.
I thought he would go 9, even though he was losing 3-1 at the score. He still was commendable.
Right fielder.
Well, the bases are now loaded after the walk with big hit Mac headed to the plate. He's 0 for 3 on the game. What a perfect time to grab your first base hit of the ballgame.
Well, you don't have to worry about that low outside curveball for him reaching because it's a left-hander. Now it's coming into him. He doesn't have to reach.
Long wait for Kenny Pearson up on the bump. Nods at his catcher, and here comes the first pitch to Elijah Mcnamee. Swinging strike one, he was way ahead of the off speed.
He was way out, and again, it was an outside pitch. I don't think it was a ball. I mean, a strike. I think it was a ball. He either is too far away from that plate. Oh, I guess he is. Look, I'm trying to judge from what I see. He can't reach the outside corner.
An 0-1 to Mcnamee.
Strike two.
Ooh, man. The changeup just stayed high for ball two, or for strike two. Long wait now here before the 0-2 to Mcnamee. Bases loaded. One out here in the bottom of the sixth. The 0-2. Swinging strike three. Mcnamee caught ahead of the off speed.
And again, way outside. I'm going to recommend he either move up in the home plate. If he's going to swing at that outside pitch, he better move up on the plate to have his bat long enough to make contact.
So that'll bring up Zack Biermann with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Biermann is 0 for 3 with 2 flyouts and a strikeout. His last flyout looked really good off the bat towards right field, but it just died once it got to the air. First pitch to Biermann. The lefty-lefty battle stays low for ball one.
I'm going to brag. Years and years ago, University of Evansville was playing a team, and I mentioned to Jim Brownlee about one of his batters, what I found fault in. He told the batter, got into the World Series in Omaha, he hits a game-winning home run, ends up eventually in the majors. But the point was, Brownlee come to me and he thanked me. He said that's all he needed was a little adjustment that I recommended. I know I'm bragging, but again, when you see something to help a player, you try it.
2 balls, no strikes to Zack Biermann with 2 outs and the bases loaded. The 2-0. That one just barely catches his own low outside corner, and Biermann kind of laughs and shakes it off. He didn't agree with the call. He still leads the count, though, 2-1.
You know, you're in this league to help your career advance. And if somebody, I don't mean me, I'm talking anybody,
Pitch way inside, almost hit Biermann.
can see a fault in the player and you mention it, you're trying to help the player. You're not trying to criticize the player. You're trying to help that player.
Bases loaded. 2 outs for Zack Biermann. He's ahead in the count, 3-1. Pitch headed his way. Zoomed to the right side and played easily by Cech. He'll step on first. The inning ends, but not before the Otters not only add 2 runs, but also chase Rob Whalen out of the game. This is a very interesting last 3 innings. They're coming to you next on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports right after this. Well, we're ready for the back third of this game. Jacob Bowles and the Otters return to the defensive field. Now they're up 4 after they put together 4 hits and 2 runs in that bottom of the 6th inning. But most importantly, to me at least, they chased Rob Whalen out of the game and have gotten to Washington's bullpen. That was the important part of this game, I think.
I'll agree with you. It's up to this young pitcher from on the west side to get by this 7th, maybe the 8th inning as well.
Yeah, Bowles, one of 3 former Screaming Eagles on this squad now, and he's turned himself into quite the reliever this year. Not a long relief guy as he started the year as, but now he's a rock solid, hey, we need 2 innings from you, and he does it very consistently.
Yeah, well, any reliever, the secret is throwing strikes.
First pitch to him. Stays just a hair low for ball 1. We saw him pay for 1 strike he threw, left it just a little too high. He corrected it well with the fastballs afterwards.
Right.
A 1-0 to Andrew Czech, who just made the final out of the last half inning. Oh, he really corked up on that swing, but got too far underneath it for strike 1. It's a foul ball off to the left.
The object is any pitcher coming in to relief should be putting the fire out, not adding gasoline to the fire.
So Czech will take his time getting back in the box, and ready is Bowles as he fires home on the 1-1. Strike 2 on the inside edge. Czech thought it stayed too far inside.
He loaded the gun, but he didn't pull the trigger, and that was a good strike.
Well, I think that right there was Jacob Bowles recognizing he's hugging the plate. Let me give him something inside.
Exactly. Good call.
The 1-2. Pitch outside. Czech won't chase. The count evens up. Looks like here in the next, maybe 30 minutes, we could see a few raindrops.
Oh, really?
A 2-2 sent towards Armstrong at second. He plays it off the ground and over to first in plenty of time for out number 1.
You mean we might have rain?
As if this game needed any more wild cards in it.
Oh, boy.
Could be some raindrops here shortly.
I remember the last time I left in a rainstorm, I was saying the rosary all the way.
Well, I can assure you this. It will not be as bad as last time.
I couldn't see the road.
This is going to be nice, just cool things off rain.
Soft.
Yeah.
Soft pedals.
Yeah, this will not be aggressive, push your car off the road rain like it was that time. First pitch to Bowles, and a nice frame job from Felix. Keeps it close to the zone for a called strike 1 to Hector Roa. Roa on the evening has grounded into 2 double plays and walked as well. The 0-1. Swinging strike 2. He chased that one to the outside edge. He got a foul tip on it, but it ended up in the glove of Felix.
Now come back on the same pitch. Now, in my opinion, I don't know if that would hit the outside corner or not, but it looked good. So if it is a ball, it's a ball. But throw it, see if he goes after it.
The 0-2. Low and away. That one just got away from Bowles.
Yeah, he did throw it, but like you say, I think he held it too long.
Another arm warming up right now for Washington down there in the left field pin. At first glance, I think it's Dan Kubiak, but I couldn't tell exactly. I'll let you know as soon as I know for sure. The numbers get pretty hard to read once the shadows start to set in out there. The 1-2 to Roa. Outside, that one a little closer. Still not close enough for Roa to chase after.
Right, in the right area.
Evens the count at 2-2.
Yeah.
Defense played straight up all the way around. Just wanting to grab the out. The 2-2.
Strike 3.
Called strike 3 on the inside edge. Jacob Bowles has himself his second German-American Bank strikeouts. With authority, too.
You ain't kidding.
I think he threw that pitch and immediately turned towards the outfield and started walking away. He knew as soon as it came out of the hand, it was right where he wanted it.
Well, you called it. I'll tell you that. You called it. You said strike 3.
Yes, indeed. It is Dan Kubiak starting to warm up for Washington out there. 6'1", 215-pounder out of Barrington, Illinois. First pitch is across for Ian Walters for a called strike one. You know, end of the day, you got to be happy with Jacob Bowles coming in, throwing strikes, getting himself ahead in counts, challenging batters, doing what he's meant to do. An 0-1 to Walters. That one just stays a bit outside, trying to get the man to chase. Count evens up.
You know, I noticed these guys with Washington. I know they're in first place, but as I look up at the scoreboard as they come up individually, all of them have quite a few home runs and a lot of RBIs.
Hefty swinging strike two has Walters back in the count. Yeah, that's the big thing I think that stands out about this Washington squad as I started to look through them. A ton of RBIs. Of their 349 runs, 314 have been RBIs. So they earn a lot of these.
That's what I'm looking at, home runs and RBIs.
I like that 1-2 pitch from Bowles on the outside edge. It just didn't quite sneak in enough. So the count evens up at 2-2 for Walters. This is the count that he struck out Roa on the last play. Jacob Bowles trying to end the half inning on the 2-2 to Ian Walters. Oh, and it's fouled back towards Felix. Walters will live to see another pitch.
You know, those are the kind of swings that catchers end up with split fingers. Just slides off the bat and catches it right in the finger.
A 2-2 for Ian Walters. Let's try it again. Bowles fires home. Right back up the middle, through for a base hit. Big base hit for Walters to really earn it on that long at-bat.
Left fielder, 21, Jared May.
That'll bring up the left fielder, Jared May. 0 for 2 with a fielder's choice, a foul out, and a walk. Want to start looking through the Fox Sports WYFX Frontier League scoreboard once again. Quebec defeated Ottawa 6-4 on the road. New York currently holds a 8-7 lead at home against Sussex County in the 7th. First pitch to Meng. Lifted high, foul right behind home plate, gets out of play. Joliet defeated Florence on the road 5-1. That's a Joliet team that really needed a win. New Jersey defeats Tri-City at home. Big win for the Jackals, 10-3. And in the top of the 9th, the Empire State Grays down to their last 2 outs at Trois-Rivières, down 8-7.
Who's winning 8-7?
Trois-Rivières over Empire State.
Oh, Empire. They were ahead 4-0 at one time.
Yes, indeed. But they're currently down to their last out with runners at first and second, so a chance.
They must have a terrible relief pitching crew.
0-2 the count for Jared Meng. Huge chance for Bowles to get himself out of the inning this time. The 0-2. Right back up the middle. Khalil will make the run towards it. It's off the edge of his glove, but it ends up in the glove of Armstrong, and he'll be already stepped on second. It's a unique 6-4 putout to end the inning. And we head to the bottom half of the 7th. Time to stretch from Evansville. Otters lead by 4. As we head to the bottom of the 7th, a new pitcher needed for Washington. They're going to ask Dan Kubiak to come in out of the bullpen. 6'1", 215 out of Barrington, Illinois. He's a second-year pro, once again playing for these Washington Wild Things, making his 24th appearance on the season with an ERA just over 4. It's called to the Bullpens, presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. It is Kubiak on the mound. Alvarez behind the plate. That pitcher catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road, or give them a call at 812-475-9000.
Tell them Zen from the Otters. Sit you.
Well, we're going to see a righty once again on the mound for Washington. I'll be honest with you, that actually kind of shocks me. I liked the way that Kenny Pearson looked. I don't think that the Otters hit well enough off lefties. I thought I would have kept the lefty in. But
I'll agree with you. That's what we talk about pitching coaches or managers yanking a guy too quick. Guy's doing well, why take him out?
Third baseman number 2, J.R. Davis.
yeah, the Otters are a whole 30 points lower of batting average against lefties than they are against righties. But who knows? Maybe Dan Kubiak has something that'll help halt the Otters.
Well, I know during my day of playing years and years ago, I'd rather have a right-hand pitcher than a lefty. I seem to hit a righty better than a lefty.
First pitch for J.R. Davis. He shows bunt, pulls away, and it's ball 1. The third baseman was playing on the back grass, so why not?
Yeah, he moved up. He's playing a little closer now.
A little bit conservative now.
Yeah.
1-0 the count for J.R. Davis, now with no outs and nobody on to start the 7th inning. First pitch this one is a called strike on the high inside corner. Augie Gallardo starting to warm up for the Otters out in the right field pen. Seems like he might be the 7th inning man.
Well, didn't he pitch last night?
He did indeed. He's pitched in, I believe, 5 or 6 of the last 10 games of the Otters.
In fact, wasn't he the loser last night?
Yeah, he gave up the game-winning home run.
Yeah. You know, bringing that third baseman in on the grass, that limits his range. And that allows the batter to drill one that if he was playing deep, he'd be an out. But now it's a base hit.
2-1 to J.R. Davis.
So it's to the advantage of the batter to get the third baseman as close to home as possible.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this third baseman, Walters, has only been able to stop one ball. I think just about everything else is zoomed past him because he's so far forward.
Yeah. And your reaction is slower.
Yeah. 3-1 is the count to J.R. Davis. With no outs, nobody on. Takes the pitch way inside for ball 4, and he's going to earn first for free to start off the 7th.
That's a deer sidewalk.
That'll bring up Jeffrey Baez, who has reached base all 3 times, 2 singles and a hit by pitch, and he's come around to score all 3 times.
Okay. Now here's a case. I don't know if Baez could bunt, but I wouldn't be bunting in this situation anyway. I got a 4-run lead, and I don't want to take that home run bat away from Baez.
Now, if you're, and obviously I know we probably have a lot of Washington fans listening because they are the road team here. When you see Jeffrey Baez, a 6'1", 236-pounder, you don't think of speed, but it's been his speed tonight that's helped the Otters score all 3 of their runs from him.
He's very deceiving.
1-0 the count, and they threw down to first, and just back in time was Davis. If the throw was online, he might have been out.
And Baez did square around like a bunt. I don't know if that was just to please the crowd or what.
Well, the third baseman, Walters, is playing in again. A 1-0 is taken for a called strike on the high inside corner. Now Walters will scoot back a bit. Huge gap there between short and third. And now the shortstop, Ward, will move over.
He was talking to somebody. Maybe it was the second baseman.
I think it was. A 1-1 to Baez. They're going to go check on Davis. He's back in plenty of time, though. Otters have done a good job of that tonight, staying in the pitcher's mind and forcing a lot of throwovers. 1-1 to Baez. Pushed over to the right side. Looks like it's going to end up out of play, and indeed it will. Bounces about 1 foot shy of the out of play wall. And a kid's going to get himself a souvenir. 1 ball, 2 strikes for Jeffrey Baez. A runner at first and nobody out. Everything from here on out for the Otters right now, at least, is insurance, and you can never have too much. A 1-2 to Baez. Sent foul again to the right side, chasing after his check towards the wall, still looking up, and he brings it in for out number 1. A foul out there by Baez, and he sits down with an out for the first time today. That's an ambitious play from Check, as he never looked down to see where he was at. He was charging that wall. We've seen a road player hurt themselves doing that because you just don't know how much space you have over there.
Well, generally they have a warning track around where the outfield is, and that tells the outfielder, hey, you're within 5 feet or so of the wall. But the infield against the, let's say the infield fence or wall, whatever, there is no such thing.
Steven Sinsley starts off with a called strike. Wanted to get to the last 2 scores we didn't get to in that last half inning. Schaumburg is in the top of the 9th, leading Gateway 8-2 over there, just near St. Louis. And Windy City currently holds a 5-2 lead, hosting Lake Erie in the 6th. The 0-1, there goes the runner towards second, and the pitch actually got past Alvarez.
Now, I'm going to say that's a pass ball because, like so many catchers during this period of their youth, they kind of scoop it like a first baseman. You gotta move your body and get in front of it. That's what I call laziness.
1-1 count for Steven Sinsley with 1 out, now a runner at second. He takes a big step back in the batter's box. He was played where he usually is, kind of hugging the plate on that back corner, but then he took a big half step backwards. So there he is at the front of the batter's box like usual. Now he scoots a little bit
He's adjusting. Didn't we have a problem with the umpire about a week or so ago?
A 1-1 for Sinsley. And it stays a bit low for ball 2. In fact, the umpire that Sinsley was butting heads with is standing over there near second base, Ty Unthank. He'll be the man calling balls and strikes tomorrow night.
Oh, okay. Sinsley had a bad game that day.
Yes, he did. The 2-1 to Steven Sinsley. Zoom to the right side, through for a base hit. Davis rounding third. He's going to score easily. And the Otters now lead by 5. Give it to Steven Sinsley. An RBI single, and now Sinsley has his first RBI of the game.
Low inside pitch, uppercut swing. And it ends up being an RBI.
With the incredible power that Steven Sinsley has, you got to be careful putting anything near the zone because he could drive a ball very well.
Well, he's one of the leading home run hitters on the Otters. I think he might be have the second best home run record.
He does. He has 10. George Khalil at the plate now. Khalil's got himself a 2-hit day, both of them RBI singles. Pitch stays high and in for him here for ball 1. In fact, in his 3 at-bats, Khalil has 2 RBI singles and a walk. He's come around to score 1 of the 3 times. Sinsley with a small lead at first. 1-0 as Khalil fouls a pitch off to the right side. Count evens up.
Just going to pass along that overhead foul ball brought to you by Ed's Construction. Choose the best.
But can't settle in yet.
Never
5 runs is
regret.
sometimes not enough against a very good team like Washington.
Well, with all those RBIs all those batters have, I'll agree with you.
The 1-1 to George Khalil. just barely saved by Alvarez to the outside edge. And it's a 2-1 count.
Well, one guy's got 40 RBIs, another one's got 38, one's got 35, one's got 44.
Well, and it seems like they always are just moving the line. And it's just bang, bang, bang RBIs for them.
Well, that's why they're in first place.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Plus, you got the guy 9-1, although he's not in the game tonight, and they won't win it tonight no matter what.
Right now, he's in line for the loss. It would be just his second of the year. The 2-1 to George Khalil, sent back towards the netting.
And I thought, even though the Otters scored a few runs on him, I thought he pitched well.
Absolutely. I thought he was very nice on the mound. He proved why he stayed in the affiliated ball for so long.
Yes.
Very good command of his pitches. The 2-2 sent off the handle of the bat, and it's played on a line drive grab by Issei at second for out number 2. So that will now bring up with 2 outs and a runner at first, the catcher Justin Felix, who is 2 for 3, a single, a double, and a fielder's choice. Got 2 RBIs on the day, too. The only loss so far on this year for Rob Whalen comes back on May 18th at Sussex County, where he gave up 5 runs on 8 hits in 5 1/3 innings. Other than that, a clean slate, 9-0.
Well,
first pitch to Felix, push to the right side, long run for Rowan. It drops for a base hit. There he goes towards second because of a misplay. The play at second in time. They get Felix on the advancement to second. And that's how the inning ends, but not before the Otters add 1 more. They now lead 6-1 as we head to the 8th inning here on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. We go to the top of the 8th inning, and a pitching change needed for the Otters.
1 more round, real quick. This is for the win.
They are going to bring in Augie Gallardo out of the pen. Gallardo is going to make his now second start in the last 2 nights, second appearance in the last 2 nights, his 6th appearance in the last 10. Last night he gave up 1 run on 1 hit and 1 1/3 innings. Of course, his run that he gave up was that solo home run that ended up ending the game. This call to the bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs.
and you said that home run was 450-some feet.
Yeah, it was a monster home run to right field. Pitcher-catcher battery is Gallardo on the mound. Felix behind the plate. That pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by The Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at The Answer Auto Repair East. Located at 2319 North Green River Road, or give a call at 812-475-9000. Gallardo ready himself as he walks up onto the bump. He'll face Brannon, Alvarez, and Ward, at least right now, here in the 8th inning Washington's starting to run out of at-bats, but you just can't count them out at any point.
Yeah.
Brannon, one of the quickest men around the base paths for Washington. Got to watch out for the bunts, as he's already done once tonight. First pitch outside's ball 1.
What's the pitcher's strike ball ratio?
See what I can find. 1-0 to Cole Brannon. Sent to the left side. Going to be down for a base hit in front of Baez. He's able to keep it in front of him for just one base, but a leadoff single has put a man on for Washington.
That was an uppercut swing, just floated there in left field. How many strike walks, Garrido, whatever his name is?
For Gallardo this year, he's got himself 19 strikeouts, just 4 walks.
4 walks? Oh, that's not
13
bad.
innings of work.
That's not bad.
First pitch to Alvarez, a half swing, but it must have stayed too far inside for ball 1.
Ball 1, yeah.
One of the things that is the most difficult thing to hit against Gallardo is his slider has so much rotation that it just zooms to the outside.
Okay.
It'll get about halfway home, then it looks like it just takes a U-turn. The 1-0 is hit sharply towards Davis, past him for a base hit. Back-to-back singles here to lead off the 8th for Washington.
Andy gets somebody up, just loosen somebody up.
Number 5, Nick.
2 batters, 2 hits. That 5-run lead doesn't look that secure now.
It brings up the hottest hitter for this team, Nick Ward, 3rd best batting average in the league and a top 15 RBI number with 45 of them.
You know, what'd you say, 5th or 3rd best hitting? Who the heck is leading the league? 390 or something?
Right now it's Dalton Combs at New Jersey with a 397 average, and Matt Botcher at Schaumburg's got a 383.
Gee, what kind of hitters are they?
There are currently 4 hitters in the league above 370.
Wow.
First pitch to Nick Ward. High and outside, ball 1.
Well, let's go for the double play. Never mind getting the runner at 3rd. Let's put the rally out. Put the flame out. The fire out.
1 ball, no strikes as Gallardo takes his time looking in for the next pitch count. Has his sign and fires home on the 1-0. Stays a bit high yet again. That's 2-0.
Anybody warming up? Yes.
There's a man stretching, but nobody warming up for the Otters. Well, it does look like Logan Sawyer is the one that's stretching.
Well, someone better hurry up and start tossing.
Sawyer looks like he's sitting down now after his stretches. Counts at 2-0 for Nick Ward. Runners on 1st and 2nd with no outs. 2-0 misses low and away, ball 3.
We could have the bases loaded, no outs.
And now a man hops up. Looks like it's Jake Polancic who is hustling over to start throwing. This is a must-win game for the Otters. You're in a place to win the game. You cannot let it fall away from you.
I know it.
The 3-0, called strike 1 on the high outside corner. I wouldn't necessarily call it a gimme strike, but it was definitely helped out by the 3-0 count. 3 balls, 1 strike to Nick Ward. Gallardo needs to find the zone.
Never mind, the runner's on.
The 3-1 sent high and kind of
third.
shallow to left.
Back up 3rd.
Baez underneath it. He brings it in for out number 1. That's a big out to get against one of the best guys on this squad. Chris Issei makes his way to the plate now. He's 2 for 4 with 2 doubles. One of them has an RBI attached to it. Defense will now shift to their double play positioning as that could end the inning. If they did turn 2, it would be the 4th time tonight. Only the 2nd time all year they've done it twice, or that they've done it 4 times.
That's a lot of double plays in one game.
First pitch to Issei. Zoomed out towards right center field. Hauling in is Mcnamee, the long run, and he slides. and it gets away from him. He'll try to throw it in, and he ends up just taking his time. The bases are now loaded. Wait to see if that one's going to be a single. I imagine so.
I'd give it a hit.
It is indeed.
Number 6.
Just wanted to make sure with our official crew down there on the other side of the press box. Bases are loaded with 1 out to Wagner Lagrange.
And 1 run scored. Or no run scored. I mean, I'm confused now.
6-1 the advantage for Evansville here in the top of the 8th inning. Garda sends it home. Curveball stays high and outside.
You got somebody warming up?
Jake Polancic down there.
I'd give him 1 more batter and I yank him.
The 1-0 to Wagner Lagrange. Nice slider, caught the zone on the inside edge. That's the movement that Gallardo hopes to have every time he throws that pitch. One ball, 1 strike. With the bases loaded and 1 out. Ball is sent foul off the helmets of Felix and then zooming into the dugout of the Otters. Everyone's okay, though.
Yeah, and I'm watching the runner on third. He wants to go home. He's got a hunger for wanting to run home.
The 1-2 for Wagner Lagrange. Swinging and fouling it off into the netting as Lagrange keeps himself alive at 1-2.
That looked like a curveball to me, but it was high, hung. They're dangerous. Those hanging curveballs are dangerous.
1-2 the count. We're here in the top of the 8th inning. Otters just trying to sneak out of this top of the 8th. The 1-2. That one is popped up behind home plate. Felix will chase back, but it'll get too far back behind. Back-to-back hanging pitches that Washington just wasn't able to make us pay for yet. Got to be careful, though.
You know, I was reading the Boston Brave historic newsletter they just sent out this week, and they brought up a point, and that is we had 3 Canadians. One is right here. Ron, now I can't think of it. Ron, well, whatever.
1-2, set on the ground towards Khalil. He plays to second for 1. The turn to first in time.
Double
and the Otters have turned their 4th double play of the night. That one gets them out of the 8th. We head to the bottom half of the 8th. Otters lead by 5. I want to remind you that Frontier League Baseball on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports is presented by Bud Light. This Bud is for you. We are ready for the bottom half of the 8th inning. I tell you what, the Otters defense again bailing themselves out.
Right. You know, I was started to tell a story about the three Canadians. They all pitched here at one time, and they all were relievers, and they all made the majors. The thing I was going to say is all three never threw a pitch above the belt. Everything was low. I would scoop up more pitches, but you never got a pitch above the belt. That's why all three made the majors.
Andy Armstrong's going to kick off this half inning for the Otters. We'll see Armstrong, Gordon, and Mcnamee. Armstrong has an RBI and a single to his name.
The most beautiful bunt laid down.
And taking note was Walters. He's now playing with his feet on the infield grass. First pitch home. Swinging strike one high and inside. Really came around quick on that pitch.
I think Andy was a little slow on that one. It was kind of high as well.
The 0-1. Pushed out towards right field. It's going to get well foul, though. We'll end up underneath the right field picnic tent where some kids go running after it.
We didn't get tonight's attendance, did we?
3,580.
Really?
3,580
Wow.
on a Friday night.
We've been drawing pretty good crowds in the last month.
The 0-2 for Andy Armstrong. Again, pushed foul. This one right behind home plate. Good defensive work there.
Brought to you by Ed's Construction. Choose the best. Never regret it.
Well, I do see Jake Polancic still ready and waiting at this point.
Just tossing.
Yeah, he tosses one, and then now the catcher, Tanksley's all the way up just talking to him, so he seems to be ready to go. 0-2 stays low and away for ball one. Obviously, with it not being a save situation, they're keeping Logan Sawyer available for next time.
So, in other words, right now, the all-time reliever wouldn't be coming in.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah, right.
1-2 for Andy Armstrong.
Strike three.
Just misses on the outside edge. Alvarez tried to help bring it in, and I think him trying to help bring it in is what probably cost them the strike.
Right, exactly. The umpire was saying, no, you can't do that.
Counts even at 2-2. On the way home to Armstrong. Right back up the middle, over the head of the second baseman. He's saying it's down for a base hit. Hard hit ball.
You know, Armstrong was batting about 280, 290. He really went down on that road trip, and even though he had multiple hit games.
The Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, Miles Gordon, now makes his way to the plate. Gordon is 1 for 3. A single in the first, a walk in the sixth. A couple outs in between. First offering to him. Way outside. Good stop by Alvarez. He really had to extend the arm.
Well, we still have a 5-run lead cushion?
At this point, yeah. A combined 24 hits.
It's an awful lot of...
Yeah. A 1-0 towards Miles Gordon. And it's sent in and out of the glove of Alvarez. So the count evens up.
Well, there hasn't been that many walks tonight.
Certainly not.
A lot of 3-2, 3-1 counts, but
A combined 8 walks. Meanwhile, there's been a combined 21 batters or runners left on base. 1-1 to Gordon. There goes the runner towards second. A high throw, and I think they still might have gotten Armstrong. Yes, they did.
Yep, he's out.
And he comes up grabbing his hand. And now a little limp to him as well. He's certainly in pain afterwards.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Grabbing at his left hand.
Can you see what happens in the dugout?
He came running in quickly, and he went running down the steps.
Oh, okay.
And I think Mandy went chasing after. It looks like they're running down the tunnel.
Okay. You don't need an injured second baseman at this juncture.
1-2 to Gordon. He sees a called strike 3, and just like that, in the span of 2 little throws, it's 2 outs.
Right fielder, number 9, Elijah Mcnamee.
Now here comes Big Mac, and he has gone down for the count 3 times tonight.
Yes, indeed. 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts and a ground out.
He's got to get closer to that plate if he's going to see right now. See, he can't reach that outside corner, so why swing at it? Look how far away he is.
First pitch to Mcnamee, high and inside, and the foul ball goes off the helmet of Alvarez. He takes a second just to re-get his bearings.
You know, sometimes that's all the adjustment you need. Back away, move up, get closer. It's not so much how you hold the bat and all this, that. Are we having the trainer?
Yeah, the ball just went off of the helmet so ferociously. The trainer came out to see him. He's smiling. He just said, no, I needed a couple of seconds just to reset. Yeah, that ball came off of his helmet hard, too. So rightfully so. He deserved a couple of seconds just to reset.
And they're gladiator helmets. I could never catch with those. I'd feel smothered.
The 0-1. Swinging strike 2 for Mcnamee on the high inside pitch, and he's down 0-2 in the count.
I used to have the mask that had the bars across. If they had the wire, I called them the mouse traps. I couldn't catch with a mouse trap mask. It had to be the bars. That was because of view, the obstruction.
The 0-2. Swinging strike 3. There goes Mcnamee towards first because it got away. The throw down to first. Is it in time? Yes, it is. So that will end the bottom of the 8th. We go to the 9th. Otters lead by 5. Jake Polancik's going to come in and try to seal this game up. Don't go anywhere. The conclusion is next. To the top of the 9th we go. Jake Polancik will get the call out of the Otters bullpen.
Just throw strikes, buddy. Let your fielders get in the game with you. You got a 5-run lead.
Polancik last appeared in the middle game against Florence here last week. He gave up 3 runs on 2 hits in 1 inning of work. Of the 3 runs he gave up, none were earned. They all came after the error there on George Khalil at short, and it all just kind of snowballed from there. His previous time was earlier that week where he gave up no runs on no hits in 2/3 of an inning of work. He'll try to replicate that one tonight. He's called to the bullpens, presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. Polancik on the mound, Felix behind the plate. That pitcher catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road, or give them a call at 812-475-9000. Andrew Check, Hector Roa, Ian Walters, the 3-2 up for Washington. Their last 3 outs.
See, there's something we were talking about earlier. 6 home runs, but 41 RBIs, a 331 average. My God, this.
First pitch home is a called strike for Check.
No wonder they're in first place.
Here comes the 0-1. It's sent towards shallow left field. Dropping back is Khalil. He calls everyone off and brings it in for out number 1.
That's a big out.
Yeah. And Andrew Check, who we just saw, like you mentioned, 41 RBIs, 331 average. He is a reserve for the All-Star game. He was voted into the game.
Oh, is that right?
As a reserve, yeah.
Oh, okay. I see when the other Otters got chosen, making 5 Otters made the All-Star team.
Yeah, Austin Gossman was one of
Yes.
the additions that happened on Thursday as
Right.
chosen by the coaching staff. It came after his complete game he threw at Schaumburg.
Now, did any of our coaches make the coaching staff?
Not this year, no.
Okay.
It's mostly made up of Washington staff. The only non-Washington one I believe I saw in there was the Lake Erie pitching coach, and rightfully so. They're almost at 500 strikeouts at the halfway point. Ball sent up the middle, and it's a one-out base hit for Hector Roa.
Okay.
So snagging a base hit is Roa, and he keeps the
Third baseman,
wild things alive.
Ian Walters.
But it sets up a double play. The Otters could turn it their 5th one of the night. Boy, would that seem to be the perfect way for this game to end. The bread and butter all night long. First pitch to Walters. Low and inside, ball 1.
Okay, now let's get get my facts straight. Tonight is Friday. So Saturday and Sunday, Washington is here. Monday, they're off. And Tuesday is the All-Star game?
Wednesday's the All-Star game.
Yeah, but I mean Tuesday,
Yeah, so Monday's
traffic day.
when the All-Star festivities, I believe, kick off. I think there's a dinner that night.
Right.
Then I believe there's a golf outing for a lot of the All-Stars on Tuesday. And
Okay.
it sounds like there's a community service thing going on Tuesday as well for the players. And then the game's on Wednesday night.
Okay, so Sunday will be the last game for a while.
Yes, until
Okay.
next Friday when the Otters are at Sussex County in New Jersey.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
2-1 the count for Ian Walters. A runner on first and 1 out here in the top of the 9th. Jake Plancic trying to put the final bow on this one. The 2-1. Sent high and foul to the left side. It's a 2-2. Yeah, you'll start off the post-All-Star game with 3 series against the opposite division. And after those 3 series, you've played everyone in the other division. So Otters will face Sussex County, New York, and Tri-City, and with that, they've faced all 8 of the Eastern Division teams.
Oh, okay.
A 2-2 to Walters with 1 out and 1 on. Zoomed out to right center field. That's going to be down for a base hit. Grabbed by Gordon. There's going to be runners at first and third with 1 out.
Okay.
That was a solid hit.
Yes, a good line drive. I don't think Willie Mays could have gotten that one in
Outfielder
center
21,
field.
Jared May.
These Wild Things aren't going home easy.
Well, that seems to be their mantra this year. They're a team that's just not going to take a half inning off.
Right. They're not going down to a knee and bend the knee and say, okay, the game is yours.
As expected, Logan Sawyer's going to start to throw just in case he's needed.
Well, I would bring him in right now.
First pitch with 1 out. Ooh, nice pitch for a called strike 1.
After this batter, bring in your
There's
reliever.
runners on the corners with 1 out. Otters playing at double play depth. The 0-1 to Meng. It is a swinging strike 2. It was fouled off the mask of Felix and over towards the Otters dugout.
The runner on third means nothing. The runner on first means nothing.
The runner at the plate means nothing.
And the runner at the batter at the plate means nothing.
0-2 the count to Jared Meng with 1 out and runners on the corners. Plancic has his sign ready. The glance to first is done, and here comes the 0-2 home. Outside for ball 1. Keep that just a little bit closer, and a solid right-handed hitter might chase that.
Well, he turned around and he was talking to the umpire saying, how far away was it?
Yeah.
I read his lips.
The 1-2 to Jared Meng now. Sent high towards right field. Mcnamee getting underneath it. He brings it in for out number 2. He's going to just make a lazy throw in, or not a lazy throw, but a softer throw in. not worried about the run scoring on the sacrifice fly.
Right. Keep the runner on first. That's the main thing.
Number 1, Cole Brannon.
And again, you weren't going to throw him out anyway, so why waste the throw?
It would have just allowed the runner to reach second, probably.
Exactly.
Washington crawls within 4, but still trail in this one. It'll bring up Cole Brannon, who singled in the last inning, has reached twice on errors tonight. The runner at first is Ian Walters. Wild Things down to their last out in this one. The first pitch to Brannon. Called strike on the inside edge. Brannon tried to sell it as a ball inside.
Well, look how close he is to that plate. I mean, his whole body is leaning over that plate when he gets set to bat. From his forearms.
0-1, cracked bat right back up the middle to Balancic. The throw to first, in time, and the Ots win. A 6-2 win over the West Top team. And these two squads are tied atop the West Division. Exactly what the Otters wanted to see as they came into this ball game. We'll keep it right here for the post game. And, start off this game where it started. Washington immediately got after Brett Adcock. A double, an RBI double, and a single. And you and I looked at each other like, oh no. Here comes the Wild Things we knew were going to show up.
Right.
But it was good work from the Otters to work themselves around it. They turned 4 double plays in the game. The first one coming there in the first. That's when the Otters tied the game at 1 in the bottom of the second. From there, the game started to kind of find its ebbs and flows. And we sat at 1-1 until the 4th inning when Evansville added 2 in the 4th inning. 1 on an RBI double from Felix, 1 on an RBI fielder's choice from Andy Armstrong. And from there, well, the Otters didn't really look back. They started to add some insurance, use the solid defensive work around them to keep them ahead of the game.
Okay, here's the big question. Did Adcock get the win? He deserved it.
Yeah, Adcock gets the win. He goes to 4-1.
Good.
Rob Whalen drops to 9-2, just his second loss of the year. The other one was, of course, on the road at Sussex County. 2 more scored for the Otters in the 6th inning. 1 on an RBI single from Khalil, the next on an RBI fielder's choice from Felix. And then here in the top of the 9th, a meaningless run for Washington came across on the sac fly RBI. It would not matter. Evansville picks up probably one of the best feeling wins all season long. Adcock started well. The Otters used defense to help him out, and the bats were able to stay consistent through this game.
Well, as I said, it was a win for the defensive team. 4 double plays and outstanding defense. I mean, really, when we were in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th inning, I was saying, oh, my God, they're going to score a bunch of runs, and the defense come out with a big double play, and boom, no runs at all.
The Otters have turned 11 double plays in the last 4 games combined, and in the 2 outings that they had 4 each, they won because that defensive work paid off in the end for them. That's uplifting to see, and I tell you what, it sets the page for a really good rest of this series. These are 2 close teams. These are 2 very good teams. There's a reason they're at the top of the West Division.
Well, I'm going to say this right now. The Otters and Washington is going to end up 1, 2, or 3. I mean, those 2 teams are going to be in the top 3, so they're going to be in the playoffs. But where is going to be the big difference?
Well, tomorrow night we've got left-handed pitcher Kobe Foster going for the Wild Things. He'll face off against righty Ryan O'Reilly. 2 very solid pitchers. Should be fun to see how the 2 kind of go about things. It's Star Wars night here from Bosse Field. Our friends from State Farm, the Arc of Evansville, and 44 News are all joining us here at historic Bosse Field. Should be a fun night, but if you can't join us here at the field, join us here on the Otters Digital Network or Flow Sports, and Bill and I will walk you through every single pitch. This one feels good. After the last couple of nights, this is nice.
I tell you what, I'm going home and celebrate with a big glass of milk. Gently, you were thinking of having a beer or something, but I'm going to have a glass of cold milk.
6-2 the final here. The Otters get a big win to open their series against the Washington Wild Things. Again, it's lefty Kobe Foster on the mound for the Wild Things tomorrow. He'll face off against righty Ryan O'Reilly. First pitch is scheduled for 6:35 p.m. We'll have the pregame show for you at 6:20. For Bill, sitting next to me, I'm Matthew Wilt. And for all of us here at the Evansville Otters, we want to thank you for tuning in to another edition of Otters Baseball. We will talk to you tomorrow as the Wild Things and Otters continue their 3-game set.
God bless.